welcome to episode 171 of the Collector's Quest podcast. In this episode, we are starting a new series called Collecting the History of, where we are looking at a topic and going through things like important releases and historical firsts, and what better place to start than with Mario. We do have a new theme song, which I totally forgot to give credit for in the last episode, so let me make it very clear up front. Our new theme song is by 8-Bit Music, APE like the monkey, and he's got a Twitter, he's got a Bandcamp, 8bit.bandcamp.com, so thank you very much for the new theme song. I'm very sorry, I forgot to shout you out in the last episode, because he definitely made this for us for free, because he's a fan of the show. And you know the thing, tell your mom about the show, and give us 5 stars in iTunes, and let's go. Back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny.
If you don't start the show with this, I'm gonna be so mad.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny and Stefan.
And Stefan.
Hey
What's
guys.
going on, guys?
What's going on?
I don't answer questions.
Tyler, tell me about this. Tell me about this GTA that sold for $2,000. What's up with
that? There was a first print sealed big box GTA on the eBay. Why? What's up with it? Do you actually see people talking about it? I saw it in the big box PC.
Yeah,
group.
you.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Are people mentioning this?
I saw it on the big box PC game collectors thing, and I'm like, oh, I should tell Tyler about this. And I looked in the first comment, Tyler.
Oh, that's me. I like being places. Yeah, it's so there's two, at least that I know of, two major variants of the first American ASC Games Grand Theft Auto release. The one that doesn't have the text in the top left corner of the box that says original and uncensored. No text is the first print. One of them came up sealed, pretty rough shape, like the box is structurally there, but just like a bunch of dings and dents all over it, and it sold for $1,900, which, I don't know, it kind of expected. The guy who bought it showed up in the group, and someone had to point out to me that the guy who actually bought it showed up in the group, and I didn't realize who he was talking about it. And at some point, he was like arguing with someone over the price and what it's worth and all that, and he called it the underlying asset. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the guy who bought it. He's calling it an underlying asset. It's just like a fractional share investing company.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind having that. I bid $600 on that. I knew I wasn't going to win it for $600, but I have no idea what's going on in PC games, because I don't think people want to pretend they don't exist, but oh man, they do. Uh-oh, Stefan. You could send him over to the investment grading services, IGS.
I got in trouble on Facebook the other day when the Mario 64 that's like going for $100,000 or whatever right now.
I'm sorry, is that real?
Yeah. But I made a comment. I was like, I wonder how many of these the high bidder already has. People didn't like that.
Why didn't people like that?
I don't know. People are uncomfortable with the fact that there's
come on,
the
really?
the hobby is super set up now for people to just make themselves wealthy.
It's $100,000 is the bid plus $20,000 in buyer's premium plus tax and whatever. So it's at least $120,000 right now. You think that's going to a fucking collector? It's not going to a collector like, oh, this is going to be my one copy of Mario. It's going to a dealer or an investor, or it's getting locked up in a vault. It's not like something someone's going to keep on their shelf and have one copy.
Why not?
How
do you know that it's not? How do you know it's not some collector who hasn't been saving his whole life for this moment to spend $100,000 plus on a Mario 64, which also shows extremely bad taste, by the way.
Excuse me, Johnny.
Boo!
Johnny,
don't get in here with your f***ing Mario 64 is the best Mario bull. It looks like somebody put Mario in a garbage disposal and then they're like, oh, but it's 3D, so it's fine. No, it looks like garbage. It's garbagey.
Johnny, you're the financial analyst among us.
What would you like to know?
This is what I was said when I was referencing people being set up to like make themselves wealthy. Like I guess I have this idea in my head that like there's people out there who are like hoarding games that were at one point common sealed, or even the ones that aren't common sealed. Like for instance, that there's a collector that had, or an investor collector that has like 10 sealed copies of Chrono Trigger. Like is a person like that, do you think a person like that is like set up now to be able to just like wait until one of these hits auction and then just jack the price through the goddamn ceiling and then get rich quick off the copies that they have like stored away?
I don't like to say get rich quick, especially in a world where what is actually like rich is such an astronomical number that
Sure, yeah.
like what we consider to be well off is, or very well off is.
I guess
it's not really
I'm
touching
curious about the likelihood of someone intentionally.
Absolutely, that's this whole
jacking up
market.
yeah.
If you want my perspective, there's been a building tide of collectors / investors who've been in early and on the train, and they have. And this is before WADA too, that these people existed. So it wasn't just this. People were trying this with VGA. WADA has helped solidify some of it. They came in, they bought lots of early sealed stuff. They've been holding on to it. They've been and this is not a model that was created from video games. It's happened in comics and sports cards and toys. Like so, like this hoarder type of collector / investor who is out there, who's just been taking this in, waiting for their moment to like pitch them back upon the market. Yeah, absolutely. And gaming was kind of one that you could see coming. So there was a lot of easy prep time for these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then even in the early days of WADA, when we're like, oh my God, this thing is going for $1,000 or $2,000.
$800 Mike Tyson. Good
Yeah,
guy.
we're like, oh my God. And now it's like, those all look like bargains. And there was a lot of people in at that time who were saying, these are steals. You should be buying all these that you can. And those people, if they're understanding that the market could get to this, because they had experienced it in other markets, then yeah, absolutely. And there was those people. And
Yeah.
to be clear, I'm not disparaging those people. It's a free country. It's a free world, like free world marketplace. Yeah, go ahead, go make your money. I'm okay with that. Does it rankle me that I didn't do it? No, absolutely not, because that's not how I collect. I collect on a completely different axis, and these people are on a different axis, and there's no right or wrong. But do I think these people are making money hand over fist on an opportunity they saw? Sure. Do some of those people then come back onto Facebook and they act like a little bit scummy? Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not like I want to talk to those people or be friends with them.
The only part in that chain that I strongly dislike, right? Like I don't care that people are out there making hordes of money. I care that they're making hordes of money and being f***ing shit about it.
They act like, oh well, we were just doing this, and they don't understand why people are upset. When the false ignorance there is particularly guiling. Like you don't understand why a bunch of like maybe younger or even like middle class people are upset that they can't, like that a game that they just played as a kid is suddenly a $10,000. Are they entitled to have that game for $50? No, I'm not talking about entitled, but like if you can't understand where their disappointment lies, then you're a bad human. Like just you can still make your money and then still understand why when someone's access to their nostalgia or the thing they think is their nostalgia, why they can't get it. If you don't have empathy for that moment, like what is the matter with you? That's a you problem. If you're just like, well, you should be richer then. Don't be such a poor person. Like
get a better job.
Yeah, that's not the right. Oh, well, I told everyone they should be investing in this because these are assets. Go f*** yourself. Okay,
John,
don't talk.
Just
to
get it
people.
now. It's only going to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, or that person.
Rejoice
well, I don't know.
In the value.
Yeah. Rejoice in the value, everybody. You could leverage other assets to obtain this if you really loved it. Like you get that talk. Also, a lot of these fake idiots act like they're financial wizards or experts because they're like, I know about markets. You're like, you're not. You're not a stockbroker. You don't have any financial knowledge outside of this maybe one specific arena. Maybe you just got lucky.
You could have bought Taboo the Sixth Sense and probably doubled your money in the past year.
Yeah. Like, you're not a genius, okay? So like, don't come at me like suddenly you got a lot to say because I know finances. I'm an investor now. And you're just like, get out of here. What is this? Please stop it. Also, like, who comes into conversations talking to people like that? It's amazing.
I could write you a list.
I know, because sometimes I get involved in, like, I'll mention something on Facebook group where nobody knows me, which is amazing. And they talk to me like, you don't know, I've been in this for a long time. I'm like, oh yeah. Is it like 3 whole years? Cool. Cool. You're right. I don't know anything about games. That's cool. Please continue to talk to me like I just got here because you don't know me from anywhere else. That's cool. And it's not like my name should carry any weight, but it's easy enough to see if I know anything about games. You can look.
If I Google Hang Tab, Johnny Iucci is like the first thing that comes up. Well, after Kenneth's article now. So
yeah,
I did not expect this topic to be so spicy, but I'm glad it was. This is a good spicy intro.
I mean, people are crazy. I'm happy with people making money. Go make your money. I don't care if you get games graded. I don't care if you paid $100,000 for a game. That's cool. Like, whatever. If you've got the money, then do it. I'm also not mad at people who buy yachts. That also doesn't affect me. I'm not like, well, I wanted a yacht. I don't care about that. I do care that, we sometimes will be in the same space, and I would appreciate it if you weren't such a huge see you next Tuesday about it. So,
Why are you always starting fights with these people, Johnny? Stop starting fights.
I'm not starting fights with these people. I just won't let anyone come in and talk down to me or talk down to people I like. That just does not fly with me. I'll punch you in your Adam's apple. That's how. Okay.
Speaking of
Adam's apples, Tyler, how's yours?
I was really hoping he was going to make that transition. I'm like, this is going to be magical.
Yeah. Speaking
I was trying to make a transition, and then I was interrupted, and now it's not going to be graceful.
Speaking of interrupting. No, go ahead.
No, just
no, we're waiting. Mm-hmm. No, Stefan, don't say anything. Let's see how long it takes.
The hobby has a real problem with people just copy pasting info and repeating common knowledge rather than getting to the bottom of stuff, Johnny. This whole week I've been getting annoyed at people posting lists of 91 unlicensed games. It's like, God damn it, there's so many more unlicensed games than 91 for the NES.
No, there's only 91.
Doesn't even make sense. Why are there 2 Impossible Mission 2s? Why are there 2 6-in-1s, but there's not 2 chillers, Johnny? It doesn't make sense. Why is there's 1 Aladdin game that counts, even though it wasn't really released? Cheetah Man 2 wasn't released. What happened in this list? Why are we using this list?
Is this turning into a all lists are bad conversation?
All lists have always been bad. If you don't know, go check out the episode. All your lists are bad. They're still bad too, and getting worse every single day. Hey, you know what? I have a young child. And one of the things that I'm learning is that parroting, like as in like Parrot, parroting is, I probably spelled that wrong because I'm a horrible speller, but that is learning. When they start to parrot, that's like an early form of, you can see that they're learning. So maybe these people are just starting to learn, and these are their first steps. Maybe you should be helping them.
No, so I'm bringing this up because I was in a conversation on Video Game Stage where a guy was looking for a source of good lists, and my answer was just like, there is none anymore. He was asking for an NES list. The Fleo on Video Game Stage, he has basically the Nintendo Age lists written down as a rarity guide. I'm like, here's this. And he's like, where can I go for other lists? Should I go to price charting? And I'm like, no, they've got like this homebrew and these weird like aftermarket games. All these lists are f***ed up. And like, here's why Wikipedia doesn't work. And he's like, oh, should I go to price charting? And I'm like, no, it's got this Sega Saturn bundle here, but then it also includes the games that are in the bundle over here. And like, every time he suggested something, I'm just like, here's why everything's f***ed up, and you'll never find a list that's good. And then he just stopped talking to me because I was being insufferable about lists.
Tyler, I'm so glad you're insufferable about lists. And I am hoping that some of my insufferableness about lists has like worn off on you. I know you already had that in you, but I hope I've only made it worse.
I mean, maybe, yes. I actually, like, today I start, like, this guy's just asking for, like, a simpler recommendation, like, where's a list I could copy that's not f***ed up? And, like, I'm looking through everything. Like, I'm looking through, like, the Sega Retro list of Saturn games, Wikipedia list of Saturn games, and I realized that, like, they're super inconsistent, especially about Netlink games, and it's making me reconsider how I track the Netlink games, Johnny. Because my list currently has Sega Rally Championship Netlink Edition and Virtual On Netlink Edition, but I believe those were only released as part of the Netlink game pack. So,
yeah, the bundle.
Do those just get combined into one? Do I?
I mean,
is it just the Netlink game pack, or do I count the games separately?
It is one retail item and 2 games.
I've also got Mysteria, Realms of Lore, and Blazing Heroes as separate entries, which
they are separate entries.
I'm combining into one because I did not realize that I had that incorrect in my list.
No, it's not one. It's 2 different,
two different
names.
It's the same game.
It's the same game, except they don't have the same name.
That's not what determines if a game is different.
Oh no, it's 2 different retail items. They don't have the same UPC.
We're doing it on UPC now? That's like saying...
We're talking about what...
Is King's Quest the same as King's Quest 1? Or different from King's Quest 1, which is different from Roberta Williams' King's Quest 1, which is different from King's Quest 1, Quest for the Crown? They're all the same game!
Different games.
Oh my God.
Different titles. The difference is that those games have different title screens.
Do you know what's been helping me recently, Johnny?
Selling all of your games and not being involved in these conversations. Get out of here. No one's talking to you.
Yeah, that too. But I was going to say, when people ask me if this actually happens for 3DO all the time, because I am a 3DO source of truth. And people go, hey, do you have a good list for 3DO?
Are you a 3DO truther?
That's right.
All right.
People say, hey, Stefan, I need a really good list for 3DO. Do you have a really good list for 3DO? And I say, no.
What?
And then that's very helpful for me. I just say no.
So hold on, let me get this straight. So your response to people seeking you out, someone who is a credible source and looking for help, instead of pointing them in the right direction and helping them, you're like, I don't help people. You know, the next step is to ask for money first.
I'm happy that you understand me, Johnny.
Yeah. Stefan, I'm literally going to drive over to your house and slap you. I can be back before this podcast ends. I can do it live. Just get in the car right now and I will be there in 14 minutes.
Oh, God.
Depending on traffic lights. It depends.
I very much enjoyed this exchange. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for a new member who found out all their lists are bad. Tyler, I think you can keep a list. Like, what is the point of putting those 2 items on the same line? Why not just list both of them and then make a note next to them that says these are the same game and the title was changed? That's better information than what you're trying to accomplish.
No, I have filled in my database for different names that a game goes by because they're.
But this is they have different title screens. They have different title screens.
What does that matter? It's the same game.
It's not the same game. It does not have the same code.
You're going to track every difference. There are games that are a lot more different than just a title screen.
Are there? Go on.
What, Devil May Cry Special Edition?
Okay.
I don't know. They're greatest Jet Moto 2 greatest hits. We'll always come back to that because it's an easy example to remember. Yeah, greatest hits
games.
one runs at a higher frame rate. No one's list is going to be like, here are the 1,200 PlayStation games, plus 1, Jet Moto 2, the one greatest hits game that counts.
That's not true.
Oh, I'm sorry, one extreme has to count too, different name.
Game Rave does, okay? And also, my list calls them both out.
F*** your list.
So you said...
What do you do about Caltron and Myriad? Caltron and Myriad are literally the same game with the same title screen.
You said no one, and I'm right here. You went into the whole world and said no one, and then found someone on your own podcast.
I'm not saying don't collect them, but they're the same fucking game.
So
I
does
feel
that?
like
Hold on, this is the big one,
go ahead.
Steph. Stadium events, and does that mean you don't need to own a stadium events, Tyler? Because it's
No,
the
it
same
means
game.
you don't need to own a world-class track meet. Well, okay, hold on. There's a difference between whether it's whether it counts and whether you should own it. Because I don't think world-class track meet needs to be in the NES set, but I do think when people are talking about the set, they're talking about the set that includes both stadium events and world-class track meet, because they're not talking about one of every NES game. They're talking about one of every cartridge that I am thinking about that we as a group have decided are the set of cartridges that we are talking about.
Okay, so in the same spirit, then, when that guy was asking, and you were like, started to think about Sega Saturn, you're like, oh, I gotta correct this on Burning Heroes. That one though is different enough for you, or not different enough for you that you're like, let's make this one thing, because you don't think those people also mean the same thing.
No, I'm combining them into one. Mine was 2, and I'm fixing it and making it 1.
So if I told you I wanted to buy the whole retail set, I'm like, oh, I'm going for a set of Saturn games. You'd be like, yeah, don't bother buying one of those. There's 2, but you only need one.
As a collector, I would want both, because having a different name makes it the most interesting variant in the set.
What is the list? Does the list include it or not? If you're
the list does not include it. The list does not include Blazing Heroes.
But the list includes world-class track meet and stadium events for NES?
No, the list does not include world-class track meet. But when the list does not include world-class track meet, but if you're going to run around and say, I have the set, you need to have both stadium events and world-class track meet, because that's the shorthand that we have all agreed on of what, quote-unquote, the set is.
Okay, stop talking to me forever. Stefan.
This is now the Johnny and Stefan podcast.
You know what? SegaRetro.org, the wiki, if you go to their list of Saturn games, does not list Blazing Heroes, because...
I don't care about... Oh, so are we citing sites that can get things
Realms
wrong
of Lore, they don't have a Daytona Netlink edition for some reason either. It's in the CCE article.
Okay, so your source that you just cited for credibility, you were also like, but they're wrong on this one, so what is wrong with you?
Everyone is wrong, except for me, Johnny.
No.
Also, I have an entire 10-page YouTube video scripted out for whenever I get my stadium events, so I can speak from a position of authority on why stadium events doesn't matter. Or the real position is that world-class track meet doesn't matter.
No, who cares? What? Like, I don't understand. You're like, yeah, no, this is the one. The stadium events is world-class track meet doesn't count. But you take no position on Saturn. You're an insane person. Stefan, help me and talk to me about anything else.
I want to address the audience real quick.
Okay, please do.
If you have made it to 27 minutes of this garbage and you're listening to me right now, I want you to @ me. Because I don't believe that anyone has either listened to 27 minutes of this garbage or not skipped over it. One of those two things have happened. They've either stopped listening to this podcast.
I mean,
we have the same conversation.
Or they have skipped over to where we've actually started talking about our topic. One of those two things is true.
I don't know. We have some hardcores who are definitely, they're here for these moments.
That's fair.
Daddy Mulk, we put out a 2-hour CQ After Dark, and within 3 hours, he's like, yeah, listen to it. Here are my comments on what I just heard, and here's why you're wrong.
Also,
here are the notes.
So people who are a member of our Patreon have added you in the Patreon, and you don't respond, so it doesn't really matter. I'm calling you out.
Oh, they should @me on Instagram.
They're not adding you at Instagram. Go to your
They didn't
pay
for exclusive access to you in your Twitter feed.
Oh, that's a good idea, though.
God damn it. Just start an OnlyFans, Stefan. I'll subscribe. We're talking about the history of Mario games, guys.
Oh, is that what we're doing? You should probably do an editor's note at the beginning of this episode and be like, by the way, guys, we're talking about the collectible history of Mario, or the Mario collectible.
Skip 28 minutes if you'd like to go directly to the topic.
Yes.
It's that's a pretty good idea. We should start our episodes like a choose your own adventure. Like after we do them, you should just come in and be like, if you wish to hear the host argue about nonsense, continue. If not, skip to page 41. Like,
if you think Johnny drove over and punched Stefan in the face.
Yeah. Not punched, slapping. I'm not trying to go to jail.
That's fair.
Yeah. So
Johnny,
we should do that.
This is
And for enough money on the Patreon, if you guys want to throw down, I'll throw down with Stefan, and I'll drive over there and slap him in his stupid face.
You know what? If we worked out a decent enough price point, I would let that happen. I would
want to donate it to charity, though. I wouldn't want to take.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. If you find Fat Cat Stefan to be too much sometimes, and you're just like, God, I'd like to slap that guy in his smug face.
I know there's plenty of you out there.
Yeah, this is your chance. We can work something out. Maybe come around Christmas time where I make your dreams come happen. We'll put it on YouTube and we'll donate all that money to charity.
I swear to God that I will that we should make this happen. For charity. Johnny will slap me in the face.
I will, and I will not pull that slap either. It'll leave a red mark.
It'll be like Slapsgiving.
It will. Yeah, we could just do it. If you don't know Slapsgiving, it's a How I Met Your Mother thing. Tyler's wife enjoys it. Tyler doesn't understand the joke. No.
I would literally, before you said that, I was looking for my opportunity to express that I understood the joke to impress my wife who might listen to me edit.
Okay.
But
I'm glad you got... You've never... Never mind. How do you have a wife and you haven't watched any of her shows with her? You just sit around and make her watch your horror
that in
stuff?
college, and we weren't going to the same college. We watched different shows with each other. I don't know, man.
Were you like obsessively stalking her in college? Isn't that something we learned at the wedding?
I don't know what you learned at the wedding. I was probably off doing something else.
Yeah, he was a little busy, to be fair, getting married, and we were a little busy avoiding the plague.
I was a little busy dancing with his mom, you know what I'm saying? Dancing with Tyler's mom.
Emphasis on little. That's the report I got back from Tyler's mom.
Oh.
Hey guys.
I mean, it does confirm though that you guys
we've got a new series in this podcast that we're starting.
Okay.
Dancing with Tyler's mom.
A sister show to So You Want to Collect for Consoles. It's collecting the history of. We're going to talk about.
Tell me more.
Well, this started. What was going on? Like, my brain was broken, and I just went down one of these Tyler rabbit holes of looking into the deepest history of optical media, and I'm like, what's the first DVD game? And the answer is a little unclear. And I was digging pretty deep. I narrowed it down to 6 games. Anyway, no one wants an episode on the history of optical media.
You keep saying that, and then again, a reference back to Daddy Mulk is going to be like, I would love that episode.
He would love any episode. Dude.
I know. He's like, hey, could you read me all of the UPCs in the Nest library? I would love that. And then if you could check some date codes.
No one is going to have anything to add of any humor or interest to that. Literally, there's going to be a week where we have a dead week, or where we haven't put out an episode, and I will just record that by myself and put that out, and someone will somewhere in their car will listen oh, the RDI Halcyon in 1985. That is sort of an honorable mention for the first system that used laser discs.
And then at some point, someone will comment on Instagram that is their absolutely favorite episode of all time.
Every episode has one. Anyway.
There is someone who loves the wrestling episode.
No, there is.
At least theoretically. We're talking in theory.
What I wanted to do in this series, or what we want to do in this series, is look at some topic from all the different angles of what historical firsts or important appearances and things like that. Mario is a perfect example because what is the first Mario game can be answered in 6 different ways. And obviously, the first Mario game is Donkey Kong, but that's not the game people want. And even when it is the game people want, it's not, I want a Donkey Kong cabinet in my house. People are like, I'm going to buy Donkey Kong on Atari 2600. So there's all these different reasons that people buy different historical appearances in Mario. And I wanted to go over the important ones, I think.
And we're talking important ones that are early. we're only going up to about the N64 on this, so there are a lot more Marios that we could talk about later and perhaps in another episode, but these ones will start to be limited, much like some of our regular episodes are limited in scope, as we're not going to go all the way up to current time. So our cutoff here was around N64, just so you guys know.
Because if you care about modern games, you're wrong.
That's true, but also like every subheading in our outline is like first, and once you get to like the Wii, like there's no more Mario first. Like, what are you gonna say? The first game where Mario has low gravity, like.
First,
Yeah,
Mario motion controls.
So, like, we could do a whole episode on that, but there's also the aspect of if you think hard enough about some stupid ass thing, there will be like some dumbass first. Like Super Mario Galaxy 2 has some stupid ass first appearance, has some stupid ass first mechanic. It's like first appearance of Spring Mario. I don't know. You could find something to put on the back of that Wada case, though. Oh my God! Speaking of Wada cases, if you look at the back of a case of Pitfall, it says. The game that created the side-scrolling platform genre. It's not a side-scroller, it's a flip screen platformer. Johnny, let's start the episode.
That sounds
all
like
right, let's get into it. Hey, that's so you can't do that on television.
If
you
guys,
know what that is. You don't know what that is, do you?
What? You can't do that on television. Is that a Nickelodeon show? Or you can't say that on television?
It's a Nickelodeon show. Ish. I mean, came from Canada. The rights are pretty muddled, but yeah, it did end up on Nickelodeon. Yes.
All right. I've probably seen like one episode as a kid, but
first television appearance of Alanis Morissette. Woo!
Yeah, woo!
I don't know.
Also, the first appearance of Slime on television.
Whoa!
That's where Nickelodeon Slime thing came from.
That always cracked me up. That Nickelodeon has made such it's a cornerstone of their brand, and it's not theirs.
And one of the other big things is if you like Monty Python, the intro and the style of the intro and the music and everything was pretty much inspired by Monty Python. Bam,
yeah.
Bam, 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 bam. Hey.
And the paper cut art style and everything.
Yep. Yep. So there's some degrees of separation.
So
anyways, that's not what we're talking about.
You can't do that on television episode right now.
Oh.
Let's go.
So you know what?
So here we are at minute 45. About to start talking about Donkey Kong.
But instead, we're talking about Barf, the chef who made burgers for the kids in the cafeteria of their school. Really gross stuff. His name was Barf largely because his food made them barf, I think.
Yeah, and then didn't he also use their? Am I making this up? That
he would
reuse their
yeah, he would definitely scoop some of that up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That show was also he was also the alcoholic abusive dad, I think.
Yep.
Same guy.
Yep.
That dude had a look about him that was creepy. Yeah. Tyler, you saw all those episodes, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I remember about that show is the name, and I'm like, that's a weird name for a show because they are doing it on television.
But you can't do that on television.
I don't understand.
Someone is going to hear this.
Did I find it? Is this porn on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, we have cracked a new market with this conversation, Johnny.
Someone is going to find this.
Finally.
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. Please talk about Moose and how hot she was. Go. If you don't know who Moose is, look it up.
And the locker knock knock joke segments. Oh, they're
so good. That show was so ahead of its time.
So ahead of its time. Absolutely.
Tyler, it was also ahead of your time because you weren't born.
Because you weren't born yet.
All right. Maybe we should talk about some other stuff that happened before you were born. Let's talk about Mario and First Prince and collectibles and history.
Yes.
Shall we?
Specifically things you can own, although I don't think I came across anything from the 80s of Mario that you can't actually own. Although arcade cabinets are somewhat hard to own.
First, I'm sure there's some displays and stuff too that you probably can't find.
What you better know what the first Mario display is. You better figure that out by the end of the episode, Stefan. That's your wheelhouse.
I have a couple guesses. I don't know that I'd be able to actually narrow it down. But
Donkey Kong, 1981. Jesus Christ, we're talking about Mario stuff now. So some sources say they put two dates.
Hold on. This guy wants to argue for 30 minutes about lists, but now he's upset that we're taking did this on purpose. I could just sense his frustration, and I couldn't stop myself.
He was on the edge. Like, you
Yeah,
can't.
I know. He
It's
was like,
you know,
okay,
like,
finally, we're doing it.
Yeah, it's like one of those videos where like the cat's like sitting on the very edge of the counter, and like there's the glass or whatever, and they're just
Like, don't you do it.
You got
Don't
it.
you do
You got to
it.
just.
Yeah, I am that cat.
Do you think he's coming back?
I think so. I think he really wants to talk about this, but he might need a minute. How you been?
I've been all right. The new job is wonderful. It's interesting because it's a lot busier. I'm doing a lot more, but at the same time, like before my last job, I was doing too much and I was by myself and completely unsupported, and I have nothing above and below me, right? I was completely unsupported above me and completely unsupported below me. Now I have so much more to do. Like the scope of my job is much, much broader. But I have a ton of support both above and below me. I have a team below me that is wonderful. I have a team above me that is wonderful. And so I feel so I'm busier. I'm tired, I'll tell you that. But I am so much more like creatively fulfilled, professionally fulfilled. I don't feel overworked because I'm so well supported, and it's one of those things where I'm sure you can relate. It's one of those things where like I didn't really realize I was missing that until I got it.
Yeah,
Right?
well, I mean, teams, you accomplish more in teams, right? And teams doesn't need to be every day rah sis kumbah, but you know, the structure of the team and having places to go when you have problems, and you know, just working out on yourself by yourself on an island is hard. It's isolating, and it's diminishing, and it sucks. So I'm glad you're feeling more support, and then that's fueling you creatively as well.
Yeah, I don't mind being busy when it's fulfilling, right? Like there was just this huge like layer of oppressive stress that was just coming from feeling like I wasn't being supported.
Well, and it's different too. Like when you know you're busy and you're like working with other people towards a common goal.
When people are in the trenches with you instead of you just in the wilderness digging a fucking trench.
Right, exactly. You're just like Sisyphus, just pushing this boulder up this hill forever by yourself. It's a much different feeling than when you know you've got a bunch of people with you, experiencing and doing the same thing. And they have your back and you have theirs. It is a strengthening experience. So maybe Tyler won't come back. Who knows? I think we broke him proper. Tyler, did you come back?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Okay. You guys can below me.
All right, I'm gonna give that to him, Johnny. That's good.
I'll give the clap there.
Found a joke.
All right, found the joke. Ring the bell. Ding ding. Tyler found the joke. Congrats, Tyler. Good job.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were just talking about teamwork and supporting people.
Oh, I heard it.
Which I know you're like, these guys, they don't know about support. I want you to know you're seen. You're heard. I support you. I apologize. I'm ready to talk about Mario games now.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time for the show we have. We should probably push that up to the next episode.
No, we have at least 3 hours in us.
Yeah, I know. Hey guys, the first appearance of Mario, the most beloved Nintendo character. Is he the most beloved?
No.
I'm thinking. Like, if Pikachu's a Nintendo character, I don't know.
It is kind of weird that they created this fat Italian, and trust me, I can relate, that people love. There's like, people love this little dough ball.
Yeah. I think there's characters that people genuinely like have I don't think there's a as large of an emotional attachment to, and of course I'm generalizing, but to Mario as like, for instance, Link. Like I think I feel like that fan base probably has a stronger emotional connection to that character in that world than people who like. I feel like people who love Super Mario Brothers, like they love the games and they love the gameplay, but I don't know how much of that is really connected to the character himself.
I mean, Link doesn't talk or anything. He's just kind of a dude.
Excuse me.
I mean, princess. Yeah. And I mean, modern Link is by far the hottest character Nintendo has ever created. for all genders and all sexualities because he just works for everyone.
Beg to differ. That's
Whoa.
Mario. People love what?
Johnny, stop trying to make fat Italians happen. It's not going to happen.
No, it not happening. He's one of the most recognized characters in the whole world. Okay, up there with Mickey Mouse.
Okay,
and
Dennis,
actually
come
rating
on.
above.
Come down
Okay,
to earth.
just-
I know.
Come on, Dennis.
Hey, the dude is getting his own land. Already has his own land at Universal. You don't see Link having his own land, right? You're not like, let's travel the Lost Woods and find the Master Sword. No. They're like, let's see what we can do in the Mario world at Universal.
Do you think? Question, Johnny. Do you think that is because the Mario character is much more intrinsically tied to the Nintendo brand? Like, I feel like there's a lot of bleed over there, right? Like, people who just fucking love Nintendo, that passion bleeds over to the character because he's so representative of the brand.
Mario is the icon, right? He is the branding, as we will talk about in this episode. But also, Tyler, because people love fat, doughy Italians. I'm telling you. This is, I have to die on this hill as a fat, doughy Italian, or what do I have? I would feel like I was betraying my kind.
I just know that Stefan, I'm with you. Like, I think Zelda in general connects with me so much more than Mario. Like, I mean, Mario is right there too. But
I agree with you, by the way. You know, I love Zelda more than Mario.
I am a Zelda man, and whenever I look at like the sales, because people are always like Mario.
I thought you were a Metroid person.
Obviously, Metroid, close number 3. You look at all the sales, like Mario blows Zelda sales away. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch, a remake, it sold double what Breath of the Wild did. Breath of the Wild, like you would think Breath of the Wild is the Switch game everyone talks about. It's 5 years old at this point, and it's still probably like the one people talk about, like, oh man, Switch, Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's the best game on the Switch.
But it requires a commitment that Mario Kart does not.
It does. But like selling half of a Wii U remake, it shows how much people love Mario, and specifically Mario Kart, because that's like always the best selling Mario game, even more than the platformers.
I also feel like, especially like
accessibility.
And for the children market too, I feel like Mario is like the go-to because of that brand awareness. It's the go-to for the parents, the grandparents. So like, yes, children are making their own decisions as far as purchasing power, way more than like when I was working for Disney, for instance, when the kids were not at all making their own purchasing decisions. So, but that's still happening, right? So I feel like there's a certain segment of the people who are buying Mario games are doing it because it's easily giftable, right? And my grandkid loves Nintendo, and the character that I associate most closely with that brand is Mario.
Yeah, I mean, also as far as like with kids and everything, like you would let your kid run up and hug a Mario. But Link, you'd be like, I don't know, sketchy Link. Please don't touch my child.
Got a sword.
Yeah,
get out of here, Fox McCloud.
Yeah.
I mean, that Fox is pretty creepy. It's a little bit creepy.
Yeah. Fox.
We're talking about something that might come up later in the show on What Do You Buy?
Well, yeah, Fox will definitely, he's got Roman hands and Russian fingers.
So to bring us back, we all agree Mario is the icon of Nintendo, as much as we love Zelda. The arcade game came out. So, all right, came out. All the sources say it came out on these like 2 dates in January. It lists like 2 dates in July 1981. There's one that says like July 3rd is Japan and like something in late July for America. And when you look at where those dates came from, it's the United States Copyright Office copyright registration date. And both of them are the exact dates for like 2 different Donkey Kong registrations. That's a really weird date to say that an arcade game was released to the public. I'm guessing there's no way to get a better date. A lot of the arcade release date info I see, it comes from like these arcade like monthly and weekly flyers that actually do have like really good info. They're like, oh, last week we saw, Bosconian shipped to arcades or whatever.
Isn't there a really good story? I'm sorry. Isn't there a really good story by Howard Phillips where he talks about the day they actually started, like, were in warehouse and he was unloading them, and like his tie to Donkey Kong? Was that on Nintendo Age where he wrote that? Did I see a YouTube video? Where did I get this from?
Does he have like the actual date?
Like I don't know if he says the actual date, but he talks about the time frame in which he was working and which, because he talks about how Donkey Kong changed Nintendo forever in America and their arcade presence, and him unloading them at the warehouse.
Yeah, he does talk about because Howard Phillips did start as a warehouse employee at Nintendo, and he does talk about most of the interviews that he gives talks at some point about his time in that warehouse. So that's pretty accessible information.
I mean, it totally could just be not sourced on Wikipedia. Like, I found multiple errors in Wikipedia, and the answers to the errors were in the sources on the same Wikipedia page. So, like, this release date information and stuff like this is out there, or better information is out there. It's just people are incorrectly citing or just like using random dates they find on the internet and just like, oh, put that on Wikipedia. It came out July 3rd, 1981.
Yeah.
The date of the first U.S. Copyright Office copyright registration. That makes sense.
Well, I think especially with a lot of old media that was like shipped, it's like, what are they talking about release date? Like, day it could be sold, day it arrived at dock, day it arrived in warehouse, like first arcade to ever get, like all of that is pretty loose and was a lot looser then than it is now. So like use it as a general time frame, not as an exact date.
Can I throw out a YouTube reference that will be helpful for this conversation for our listeners? This is a panel. If you just search, go to YouTube and search PRGE 19 Howard Phillips. The first link will be a panel that he did with Frank Cifaldi at Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2019. And I know for a fact he goes over all that history of him working in the warehouse. So if people are interested in wanting to hear Howard Phillips talk about his time in the warehouse, that is a great YouTube video. It's a panel with him and the Video Game History Foundation.
All right, cool.
Stop plugging the Video Game History Foundation.
I will always plug them.
When are they plugging us? Never? Then get them out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Please continue to plug the Video Game History Foundation.
So
I want to just like be a weirdo and have a hot take there. All right. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
So during development, Mario's name, it started as Osan, which is, it means middle-aged man in Japanese. And so just fun fact, Golf stars Mario in America, but canonically the game Golf on the Famicom stars Osan, who is a different character, even though they're the exact same game, which is a weird thing. So after Osan, they called him Mr. Video, and then Jumpman, and finally Mario. And his name is kind of both Mario and Jumpman in Donkey Kong. So the arcade manual calls him Jumpman. And there's instruction cards on the bezel of the arcade that also call him Jumpman. But then the arcade flyer calls him Mario. And then obviously every single port that this game has ever had calls him Mario. So saying he's one or the other is not really correct for Donkey Kong in arcades in particular. I think for all the home ports, calling him Mario would be correct. And then there's crazy fan theories about Jumpman being a separate character. Go down weird wikis if you want to go into that.
I just don't understand anyone's like stance on this. It's Mario. The genesis of it, maybe it didn't start out as exactly Mario, but it became Mario. So it's all of the same thing. It is the same. It's not like, oh, a new character became Mario. It's not like they created this separate character and were like, oh, now this is Mario. No, they took an existing character and they just kind of rebranded the name as they went on. It wasn't something new that replaced it. So
yeah.
The genesis is all the same. So calling it Mario is probably fine because that's the name now.
Something genuinely irks my brain when you use the word Genesis in the context of Mario.
Yeah, because his first appearance, the Genesis of Mario is not the Genesis.
His first appearance was on the Genesis. Got it.
Oh my God.
Got it. Well, in Brazil, it was on the SMS, so just throwing that out there.
Does it have a barcode?
It does.
Super Mario on the Sega Master System?
Sideways Mario, or Sideways Manual, it's got the UK branding on the back.
No fewer than like 3 people are Googling that right now.
Yeah. If you've made it to this episode and you're curious if Mario is on the Genesis.
Sega
Please don't Google it because you will find copies of Mario on the Genesis, but they're just bad ports. Just stop
That's
it.
true.
Just don't do that. All right, sorry. Tyler, I am an interrupting dinosaur, and I keep interrupting you, so please go on.
Actually, I have a Super Mario Brothers 2 bootleg that I got off AliExpress for Genesis before I was like really poo-pooing bootlegs. It was like $1.80 or something. I'm like, I'll take Super Mario Brothers 2 on Genesis. Anyway, I think everyone listening to this podcast, you obviously know what Donkey Kong is. I'm sure you know Mario's name came from the Nintendo warehouse landlord because they were late on their rent. And so Mario came from his name, Mario Segali. I don't need to go over it. Everyone knows that. Okay, what can you collect with Mario, guys?
The arcade cabinet.
The arcade cabinet. So, I mean, technically the first one would have been the Japanese arcade cabinet. I don't know a lot about it. I'm just assuming that no one is importing Japanese Donkey Kong arcade cabinets. So
Wait,
the one
wait a
that...
minute. Would that be? Sorry, I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trolling at all. Was that actually true? Like, is there a Japanese version that's earlier than the radar scope conversions?
I don't know anything about the cabinet. I assume it's the same cabinet, but the U.S. Donkey Kongs were built in Redmond. There would be some difference. I don't know if it's possible to date them.
Yeah, I don't know. Huh.
The one that collectors are interested in, though, is the first 2000 Donkey Kongs. Because the whole point of Donkey Kong for Shigeru Miyamoto was, we got this game, Radar Scope. It sucks balls. I don't know if it sucks. I've never played Radar Scope. Radar Scope's actually a pretty rare game because of Donkey Kong, because it sold poorly and they converted them. So the first 2000 Donkey Kongs were converted from Radar Scopes. So Radar Scope had a red cabinet, whereas the standard Donkey Kong is a blue cabinet. So the first thing you're looking for an original one of these Donkey Kongs is a red cabinet, although a lot of people paint them red because the red looks cooler. And so these are just the board on this is super hard to find. They've got a unique board too. So there's 3 different Donkey Kong PCB variants. If you look at the code on the PCB, you'll see TKG2, TKG3, or TKG4. So the first 2 sets are 4-board sets, and the last set is a 2-board set. No one cares about that. What you need to know is TKG2 was a radar scope board that has a sticker on it that says TKG2, which means it was converted to Donkey Kong, and that is the correct board to pair with a red cabinet. And another thing you could do to make sure your red cabinet is legit is you look at the serial number on the back of the cabinet, because every single one of these was serialized, and it will say TKG2 on the little serial plate. And these are individually serialized, starting with 100,001. So if you find Donkey Kong TKG2 number 1001, it is the literal singular first appearance of Mario in America. There's one cabinet, is probably in the dumpster somewhere from 40 years ago, but you could literally find the earliest existing print of Mario if you track down these arcade cabinets. So go do it.
Do that? Yeah, you should do it.
These are
and then let us know what a baller you are.
Yeah. Like having one of these is super baller. I'm sure, like, I don't know if people would be willing to pay like a lot for a freaking Donkey Kong machine like this, because they are expensive in the arcade world, but the arcade world has like reality and limits on it that sealed game collecting right now does not. So I don't like, would someone pay 50 grand for a radar scope converted Donkey Kong? I don't know. People seem to like small things that they can stick on a shelf and easily ship when they want to get rid of.
Well, and that can be graded.
Oh, yes. You can't grade this. It's unfortunate. Maybe you could pop the ROM chips off the board and grade the ROM chips. VGA would do it. VGA will grade
I was going to say, I bet you if you hit up VGA and you were like, I will bring this to you if you will put it in a f***ing plexiglass vault, I bet you they would do it.
You probably, VGA makes custom cases. You could grade the entire PCB with VGA.
No, you just
don't do that.
Don't grade. Do not grade a Donkey Kong radar
grade the
scope
cabinet,
PCB.
Tyler. Yeah,
It would have to be qualified,
you know,
though.
if you were a rich person, you should do that and then show me. And
What if
because I just want my last faith in humanity to die. So you could, if you have the money, you can be the person who kills it. I'm just saying, there's an opportunity here.
All right, so a Donkey Kong, if you just want a PCB, which is reasonable to own, they're like $200 to $400. I don't think I've ever seen a TKG2 actually for sale. I've only seen people post want to buy posts and then have them fulfilled. A full Donkey Kong cabinet, it's like $1,000 to $1,500 if you're on like a Facebook or a forum for collecting arcade games. Don't buy them on eBay because a lot of them are just built from scratch and they're literally just either MAME cabinets or they've got LCDs or they're super overpriced. eBay is like literally the worst place to buy arcade games. I say that on a show where I think Stefan bought a pinball machine on eBay live on the show.
I sure did.
Yep. And that's Donkey Kong. Literally, I think 0 people listening to the show are interested in collecting it, but I got to bring it up because it is technically the first Mario thing you could own is a Donkey Kong arcade cabinet.
To be fair, let me take a sidestep here to talk about my eBay buying habits and how Tyler responds to them. And I think Johnny will probably back me up on this. Almost 100% of the time, I buy something on eBay and Tyler like balks at the price. And then like, I don't know, within maybe like a month or two, he looks back and goes, God, that was a really good fucking price.
I'm sure that is not the case for like a Jurassic Park pinball machine. Well, I don't know, coronavirus, maybe new pinball machines went up in price.
That's right.
Who knows? Not this guy. Guys, arcade machines aren't super reasonable to collect. We have people who live in New York. They don't have space for that. So let me tell you about something you can buy. A little bit easier.
Wait. Can I interrupt real quick?
Absolutely.
Before we go off, because I have a Donkey Kong arcade fun fact.
Okay, go for it.
I know who owns the. Tyler's talking about the first production machine. Don't know where that is. Obviously, probably in a landfill, like you said. I do, however, know who owns the very last production Donkey Kong arcade machine.
Is it Disneyland?
No, that is Minoru Arakawa, the founding president of Nintendo of America. He was gifted it at his retirement party, which I shortly put up a video of, and then Nintendo NDA or the Nintendo C&D'd me into the ground. So, but yeah, I have seen footage of him being gifted the last production machine of Donkey Kong for the arcade.
That's super interesting. Also, a little weird because when was that? That was probably filmed like Donkey Kong must have been dead in the ground because they made so many Donkey Kongs. That would be. Like, I don't know, it would be like if Shigeru Miyamoto retired right now and they're like, here it is, the last Super Mario Galaxy 2 that we ever made.
They may have made it for him. I can neither confirm nor deny that they did that.
Well, I'm sure it was a big part of his life at Nintendo of America is fucking Donkey Kong. I'm sure like the early 80s being at Nintendo of America, Donkey Kong rolling off the line was probably a very exciting time being on top of the world when you came from nothing.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Johnny. I thought that was an amusing anecdote.
Yep. Agreed. I would tell you to Google that video, but you can't.
You cannot.
You cannot. Like I was saying, first Donkey Kong home port. Game & Watch. Guys, if you need something you can put on a shelf that looks pretty cool, let me tell you about this Game & Watch. So came out around, let's say June 3rd, 1982, but that is pretty sketchy.
Well, okay, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. So Japanese release dates... someone's going to have to tell us why. They're super specific, and I think they're accurate. You could buy, like, books, and they have to-the-date release dates of vintage Japanese games.
Fine.
Daddy Mulk, tell me why that's the case. That's
true. Yeah, you're right. For the Japanese stuff. But still, I'm just going to say, like, I don't know what that means. June 3rd, I don't know if that's the ship date. I don't know if that's the release date in store. Like, that's not the creation date or anything like that. So... keep that in mind. Around June, the beautiful summer of 1982, these things hit the market in Japan. The release date in the U.S. is unclear, but it is not 1982 or slightly beyond. Okay, so
what? No, it is 1982. I don't know what it is besides just 1982.
Oh, you don't know what it is beyond 1982? You think it came out here in 1982?
Yeah, it did. Sure? Because
you're sure? You're sure?
Yes.
You're sure? 1982.
Oh my God.
1982.
When did the Mario Bros. Game & Watch come out? Oh, it was March. I can't even. Yeah, it definitely came out in 1982.
1982.
If you were cashing in on Donkey Kong, would you have released it in 1983? Johnny, no. You would have released it in 1983.
I might. 1983 is a great year. Anyways, 1982. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. Just know it exists. It came out around 1982, 1983. Doesn't matter. It's there. It's a Game & Watch. You know what these things look like? There are many variants of this. The earliest variants have a serial number that start with 31, and they do not, and this is, let me be clear, this is the easiest way to identify first prints, Okay, it does not have the word start above the jump button on the box and the system. All right, so that's the easiest way. There are other ways, but this is the easiest way. These things were out for a very long time. They were out into the 90s. Most of them came in these cute little cardboard boxes. They look awesome. You've seen them around, usually beat to crap. So you can find them loose for about $100 to $150, and you can find them CIB from that $100 to $300, but that's very condition dependent. So like you could find a really nice, beautiful LCD one and you will pay $150. You can find a garbagey one in a smash box for $100. That's reasonable because the condition of both items, not one or the other, is driving the price. So keep a look. And then like in the late 80s, early 90s, 1990, there was versions that came in plastic blisters. So those are the most undesirable because that plastic is horrible. And if you've got that one, you've probably got it sealed because they look almost the same once you open that blister. And that blister, it's not like some attractive packaging you would have kept. It's really just a generic, horrible plastic blister. So there you go.
Johnny, I think there's a guy on Instagram who has a ton of those blister-packed Game & Watches sitting in a World Nintendo case. So if he's a listener now, he thinks you're a jerk for calling all his Game & Watches crappy.
I said they're the least attractive. I didn't say they were unattractive.
They're pretty unattractive, in my professional opinion.
So now, so you're like, damn, Johnny just made it so that guy wouldn't be mad at us. Let me double down on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie to our listeners. They're ugly carded Game & Watches.
Listeners, please know that Tyler does not speak for the whole Collector's Quest. His opinions are his own. You might be very into those blister packs. That would make you a weirdo.
Like they're probably super rare because
because you would open
you're not
them
finding complete in box, or you're not finding new in box Game & Watches on eBay. There's tons of complete in box Donkey Kongs, but to find this, it would have to be new in box. So they're probably the most desired by Game & Watch collectors.
I doubt that's true.
Because
it's true. Yeah. Like don't muddle the message for people. Always earliest is best. That's pretty much, it doesn't matter the rarity of the print run or anything like that. The third print they might have only made 4, but that's not what people care about. They want that first print, first editions. They want that real hot sauce. Not any, weak substitutes. Anyways, go out and buy it if you like. It's a lot easier than buying a Donkey Kong cabinet. As Tyler said, though, the blister packs, you're probably not going to find it unless it's new. But the nice thing about those cardboard boxes is even though they're a little flimsy, you could open them up and they were not too big, so they weren't like the worst thing to store. So they've survived the 80s. A lot of them did anyway. So they are still obtainable today.
They're packed with styrofoam, so that makes them more resilient than other games that are just garbage. Although they're all wrecked because a lot of them are pretty wrecked. Not like completely squished.
Not like plastic tray wrecked, where they put those like thin molded plastic trays that basically turned to powder after 8 years. Anyways, that's all I've got to say. I know Tyler wants to get in on some more 1982 action with Colecovision. So Tyler, please tell me about Colecovision Donkey Kong.
I want to simultaneously talk about the first home ports with an S of Donkey Kong to home video game platforms, because I see different people saying ColecoVision came first, and I see different people saying Atari came first. And I know it's not like they've looked into it and have decided it. They've just like either it says it on a Wada case or someone somewhere said something was first. So. Both of these have incorrect release dates, I believe, on Wikipedia and most sources I checked. They both came out in late July 1982, from what I can tell. So there's an arcade newsletter called Arcade Express.
Both what came out?
Both the ColecoVision and Atari 2600 ports of Donkey Kong.
I just want to be clear.
There's an arcade newsletter called Arcade Express, and you look at the first issue. The first issue of Arcade Express, it says that ColecoVision... It's a quote from Mike Katz, who was the CEO of ColecoVision. Oh my God, put away the email. Michael Katz was the vice president of marketing at Coleco. He was the president of Sega of America and president of video game division of Atari. He wasn't the CEO of ColecoVision. I'm sorry. Vice president of marketing at Coleco. And it's Coleco, not ColecoVision. I know. I caught it. Don't email me. It's a quote from Mike Katz, who was the CEO of ColecoVision, and it says that the ColecoVision went into distribution in late July 1982. And if you Google like ColecoVision release date, Google's going to tell you August 1982. But I'm going to believe the quote in a primary source from the CEO of ColecoVision. So for the ColecoVision release, there's two variants, but they're PCB variants. So there's one that has 24K ROM chips and one that has 16K. So there's a 3-chip version and a 2-chip version. You can weigh them. You can open them up. Literally, loose cartridges are doorstops. $0, I'm going to say, because it literally came with every ColecoVision. There are more copies of Donkey Kong, many more copies of Donkey Kong probably, than ColecoVisions that you could actually find to play them in. There is an interesting variant, though, which I believe we brought up on the show before. There's a standalone version, a complete in-box version that you would buy at the store, and I've never found out exactly why it exists. But every single version, every ColecoVision ever made came with a loose cartridge of Donkey Kong. So why would anyone go to the store to buy one? So I always thought it was for Atom computers, because Atom computers are essentially ColecoVisions. You could put a cartridge in. But no, someone told me I was wrong when I said that. So these are like replacements for someone who have lost their copy. I don't know. There's a sealed one on eBay right now. They're asking $25,000. I couldn't find any recent sales for complete in box ones. I imagine they are some hundreds of dollars. It is a high-end ColecoVision collectible to have a complete in box Donkey Kong. And then if you're interested in having the entire boxed ColecoVision to have the boxed cartridge, they're like $300 or $400, and a lot of them are trashed. Atari, which is not after ColecoVision, we are saying this is simultaneous with ColecoVision. You can find newspaper ads for Donkey Kong on Atari 2600 that go back to July 21st, 1982, at least. Those are just the ones that people have found. And there's like 6 ads of different newspapers for that week. And Wikipedia somehow came up with a release date of July 26th. That seems completely made up. Don't listen to it. But same exact thing, like literally last week of July, both these releases. The interesting thing with the Atari 2600 version, besides the fact that it kind of intentionally sucks balls to make ColecoVision look better because it's Coleco who's publishing this game, it was recalled for compatibility issues with early Atari consoles. So it was released in late July, and then it was recalled immediately, and then they released it again in mid-August. If there was a variant, that would be super cool. But as far as I know, you can't find like a recall variant or anything like that. And so that's another Mike Katz quote from Arcade Express Volume 1, Number 2, where he said that it will be back in stores the second week of August, meaning it had already been released and recalled before the second week of August, which would have had to been before this magazine was published. So it definitely came out in July. I'm only getting angry because of sources that say one or the other came out first when it is completely unclear, and they seem to have come out at the exact same time. Other interesting things about the Atari version, Gary Kitchen was contracted to develop it, who you definitely know from Gary Kitchen's Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf. It took him 3 months to develop it. He said it could have taken a year, and he asked for more memory so he could fit more levels in the game. So the Atari version, I believe, has 2 levels, and the ColecoVision has 3 levels, and Coleco said no, because they wanted to sabotage the Atari version to make ColecoVision look better. In terms of variants, there's a lot of variants for the Atari version. The major ones, the earliest variants, have the lie on the box that says, plays like the real arcade game. And then really late print variants have, not really late print, but mid-production, but not anywhere near as common. They have a sort of cartoon Donkey Kong on the box, and then it's called a re-release. Atari re-released it in 1988 in a red box, which is something very common. If you follow heritage auctions or the sealed market at all, you'll see these Atari red box games because they were all produced super late in the Atari's life, and there's tons of new old stock left over, and they're all the latest releases of these games. So there's a red box Donkey Kong as well. If you're going to collect one, get the one with the cartoon on it because it's probably the rarest, or get just the earliest print you could find. It's
rarest.
The rarest. It's literally Donkey Kong. None of these are rare. $20 to $40 game. Loose, I'm going to say $0. In actuality, is probably like $7 because people do want Donkey Kong, but just get it complete. It's an Atari game. What are you doing? Those are the first console appearances of Donkey Kong, Johnny.
Woo!
Simultaneous. Someone prove it otherwise. Someone has a better source than Arcade Express.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, and I've said it multiple times on this show, I do not like primates. And we're spending a lot of time talking about Donkey Kong, and I'm sorry. I know you want to get to the sweet, true Mario goodness. Goodness? I don't know what goodness. Goodness. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It sounds unfriendly when it was meant to be nice. But this is an item I had as a child. Well, I can't say I had it. My aunt had it, and I would go to her house, and I was allowed to play it. I felt like I owned it because I think they bought it for me when I came over. This was my aunt who had some money. So she had the Coleco tabletop version of Donkey Kong. You've seen these cute little cabinets. They are all over the place. Lots of them missing battery doors in their boxes. It's horrible. Lots of them are broken or in really horrible condition, but they're cute. They look like little mini arcade cabs. They're blue. They come in a crappy little box, and they are oftentimes, as I said, not in the best shape. So if you want one of those, I'm sure you've seen them. They are not too inaccessible to get. They made a lot of them, and this was around the time frame of August 1982. We're still in that beautiful time of 1982 in the summer when Donkey Kong was the biggest thing there was ever, because look at all the things. It was barely in the arcade, and now it's everywhere. It's on the Coleco, it's on Atari. They've got little tabletops, and it's also, we're going to be talking about simultaneously the Intellivision release. Woo! More August timeframe stuff. So anyways, you can get this Coleco cute tabletop one for 100 to 150 loose. Around 200, 250. I've seen them as high as 350 in the box. So if you're interested in that, they have a whole line. You can have Frogger, a bunch of stupid stuff. But Donkey Kong is the one I see most often because, it was that Donkey Kong life in the summer of 1982. So there was also
the most popular ones I see are people with Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and Frogger.
Yeah. Yes, those are the three. But my aunt had all three of those. She must have bought them all at the same time. Cool. And she also had River Raid, or not River Raid. It was like River Raid. It was yellow and shaped kind of like a boat, but it was another little handheld one. Anyways, let's talk about Intellivision, August 1982.
Why?
And this is what?
Why?
What?
Why are we talking about Intellivision?
Because it had Donkey Kong. And
it's not a first release. It's just Intellivision Donkey Kong.
But it's the first release that plays like the real arcade game.
But it's not, because that was the Atari version.
No, this one says the first release, and it plays like the real arcade game. Anyways, if you have the Intellivision, which Tyler is a known Intellivision hater. He hates it so much. So just be careful about his opinion on it. Anyways, the first release, if you're looking for one on the Intellivision, says plays like the real arcade game. The later release has a Donkey Kong illustration and not for use with Intellivision 2 sticker on it. There is a sticker variant. It's $20. If you want this thing, go get it. The end. That's all the Donkey Kongs there ever were. There definitely weren't a fleet of them that came out and continually are still coming out.
That's it. Not appearing in the show is going to be NES Donkey Kong, Famicom Donkey Kong. What else?
Donkey Kong Classics.
Donkey Kong Classics.
Donkey Kong on the Game Boy.
Atari 400, Commodore 64, Commodore VIC-20. Probably Amiga seems too late. Apple II.
Donkey Kong memes.
What was that, Stefan?
I said Donkey Kong memes.
Donkey
not
Kong.
Appearing on this show.
No, not appearing on this show. Although if we want to get into the more modern stuff.
So there is, if you are into the idea that Donkey Kong is the truest Mario, there is a lot of Donkey Kong you can go get. You can be swinging that big Donkey Kong around if you want. And, you can tell people what a baller collector you are and how you know that this is the real, true first appearance of Mario. Or we could talk about, this weird one, the first Mario game. The first Mario game. Hey, Tyler, what do you think the first Mario game is?
Obviously, that's Mario Bros, Johnny, right?
Yeah. Right? And where would you say that first one was?
Well, I mean, I remember when I was a child in 1983, and I walked into the arcade, and there was a wide-body Mario Bros. Arcade cabinet just sitting there with both Mario and Luigi on it, Johnny.
Yeah. Is that true? That's the first one, not Game & Watch, on March 14th, 1983.
What, Johnny?
Which is also the first appearance of Luigi.
They made an adaptation of the arcade game before it came out, so it must play like Mario Brothers then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also the possible appearance of Red Luigi and Donkey Kong Jr.
No, so the Mario Brothers Game & Watch, it came out 4 months before the arcade game Mario Bros. And has nothing to do with Mario
weird.
Bros.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
They're like, it's Mario and Luigi are loading bottles onto a truck.
Yes. And they look like beer bottles. Like, you don't, like, what is going on with them? You're like, are these guys distillery brothers? What is happening? They just like, they deliver to Vaughn's. Like, you've been in your store before, and like, those people are unloading the pallet directly onto the shelves. That's what this Mario game is. Congrats. They found it. It is not Mario Brothers, POW blocks and crabs and sewers. It is Mario Bros, the bottle guys.
Yeah.
It's very weird, right?
So it is. I mean, like, there's Mario Bombs Away is a Game & Watch where it's like literally Mario in the Vietnam War carrying bombs through the jungle.
Yes.
It is much weirder than this.
Mario's had a weird history. But you can buy this. But let me tell people about this. There are, like, if you want, get the earliest cereal you can find. It starts around 35 million and they go up to around 46 million. That's just the serial number. Later releases have barcodes on the back or on the blister packaging. And this game is about loading bottles into a truck, which we've already said. So, hooray.
And definitely the first appearance of Luigi. I will not accept any contrary opinions that Mario Bros. The arcade game is the first appearance of Luigi. He's a little Game & Watch guy. Says Luigi on the thing.
Does
this?
All right. Anyways, here's some more stuff. How do you feel about Mario Cement Factory, which is another Game & Watch game that came out on April 28th, 1983. There are different box variants for this too, just so you guys know. A little bit different, the Japanese box to the American box and some of the later release in the blister packaging. So look out for those. If you want Cement Factory, and this is all still pre-Mario Bros., you can go out and find that. It's another weird game. Mario, I think we can assume that, he was named Osan, so we know he's middle-aged at this point. But Mario must have probably been a drunk, I think, because he could not hold down a gig. That's all I'm saying. He did a lot of different jobs. I mean, he was just struggling.
He's a plumber.
To get by.
He's just looking for some side gigs.
Yeah, maybe he was just like super entrepreneurial.
No, I don't think that's it. I think he's got some trauma from Vietnam, which he was clearly in. Right? He came back and he could never quite get himself sober. And the best thing that ever happened to him was going to the Mushroom Factory.
The Mushroom Factory.
The Mushroom Kingdom, right? And which you see immediately, Mario can't get his shit together and is immediately on mushrooms. He finds the one body-altering substance there and is hooked, So I'm just saying, Mario's a junkie. He's had a lot of vices, and maybe he turned it around a little bit and became a hero in the Mushroom Kingdom. But really, Mario's looking out for the Mushroom Kingdom and Peach, but who's looking out for Mario right now? That's what.
Also, I feel like being a hero in the Mushroom Kingdom is kind of a low bar.
It is. It's a super low bar.
Yeah. Who can't be a hero in the Mushroom Kingdom? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, there are some scary things there. Like Lakitu is a frightening thing. I don't want him to exist. Could you imagine that? No, thanks.
I don't want him to exist.
I really don't.
I mean, Mario, he's doing pretty well for himself, though, because this is called Mario's Cement Factory. Not Mario works at the cement factory. Mario's Cement Factory.
Okay.
So he owns it.
So you think he's the owner?
Yeah.
Then why is he doing the grunt work?
Because, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to get in there and do it. You can't rely on people to do everything for you. If you want it done right, you're the only one who cares about your business.
Look, he might own it in the idea of ownership, but we know who really owns it, the bank. He's never paying that off. He's never going to be a success here.
I mean,
Okay?
he could have.
The
That's why
bank
he's
is- no.
picking up all these
This
coins
is a
he finds on
family
the floor,
business.
Johnny.
This dude is in so much debt. Mario is a wreck, okay? And we know this because if he wasn't, why was he out there trying to wrestle monkeys earlier? Okay. This is not a guy that you want on your side in the real world. In the Mushroom Kingdom, sure. But like, look at the Mario Brothers movie. Look how weird that was. Okay. They took a weird take on him because they looked at the source material and they were just like, this guy's too much of a mess for us. We got to do something different. Just saying.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that Mario Cement Factory came out before Mario Bros, which is like the iconic quote unquote first Mario game.
First,
but
yeah,
there's
it's when
two
everyone
games before
thinks.
it at least. The first Mario Cement Factory was the tabletop one. If you care about buying Mario Cement Factory for some reason, they made a couple different variants like that are handheld like regular games.
And we've talked about Mario Cement Factory on the show before, and we've recommended that you buy it because it's pretty neat. Also, it's weird that Nintendo doesn't they don't want to acknowledge Mario Cement Factory or the Bottle Factory. They don't want to do anything with that. They're just like, you know what?
Are you
We
sure?
don't wanna, they don't really.
They made a
where
lot
are
of
you
Game
seeing
and
it?
Watch collections over the years.
Yes, but they don't really talk. They never push it. It's not in Smash Brothers up front. I want all these versions of Mario in Smash Brothers. You know what I don't need? I don't need Cloud from Final Fantasy in my Smash Brothers, but I would accept a version of Mario from the Cement Factory.
I like the callbacks if they do stuff like that.
Yeah. And the dude from Mario Brothers 3 with the insect repellent, where's that guy? Why isn't he a character?
Are you talking about Donkey Kong 3? Hold on.
Yes.
Stanley?
Sorry, Donkey Kong. Yeah, Stanley. Thank
He
you.
should
I couldn't
be.
remember his name. The Stanley Parable. That's a reference for you guys. Yeah, he should be in it. And Pauline, it's like Pauline, right? Or is it Paulina? It's Pauline, right?
There's Pauline, and then there's Lady. I forgot what Lady's in. I know Lady is in Pinball. It's not Peach or Pauline in Pinball. It's Lady, I believe. I don't know why I know that. Mario has
Yeah,
too many girlfriends, what I'm trying to say.
Hey, yeah, well,
Yeah, you know what? Don't slut shame.
You're right.
Okay.
Okay, I would say it's 2021, but you know what, Stefan? It was 1983, so
So
Might be slut
shame
shaming.
all you want.
how many kids do we think Mario has?
oh, gee.
Why do you think, could that be the
or-
reason he went to the Mushroom Kingdom? Escape that alimony payment
right?
and all that child support?
I think
I
he
feel
blames
like
him
all
on
he'd have
Bowser.
to do is bang one mushroom and he'd have a shitload of kids, right? Because
No, I'm talking about
produce with
real world
spores.
Mario. I'm talking about Mario who's a drunk delivering bottles.
no, I'm just saying that if he if he got down in the Mushroom Kingdom with a local, he could have thousands of.
I mean, maybe.
Children.
Who knows if we can breed with them?
It's-
I know this is the content our listeners want. They
It
want us
is.
sexulating. Sexulating is not a word, but it should be. They want us speculating not on the cost of what games they could buy to make a mint. They want us to speculate
Yeah.
on whether Mario's sperm is viable in a toad, and toad like the mushroom people. That's what the people are here for.
Yeah, I'm also equally interested in talking about the reproduction system of Peach. So
Yeah. So, what is Peach? Is Peach a lady or
I
is
don't
she a
know.
toadstool? Because she was Princess Toadstool, right?
yeah, right.
That just means she's the
Originally.
human princess of the Toadstools.
You
Right.
think she's human?
Yes.
So she fell into the Mushroom Kingdom as well? It's like Narnia.
did Mario
over there?
fall
Like,
into the
Dude,
mushroom?
they just
Kingdom?
everyone who falls into their
Absol-
kingdom, they're just like, you are a god.
Yeah, Mario definitely went down a sewer pipe and wound up in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Are we okay? Is this canon from the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I don't know. I have official headcanon for how Mario got there. I have a
I mean,
whole
it is
thing.
that is canon for the cartoon show too. You in the intro, you see him getting sucked down a drain.
Also, talk about other jobs Mario had. It's a little early in the episode to get there, but Captain Lou, they were in a pizza shop, right? Or no, they were plumbers. No, they were plumbers and they just had pizza that came. Why did they love pizza? Was it just because they were Italian and we were playing on stereotypes?
No, Johnny. It was much more culturally sensitive than that.
Is it because they were in New York, theoretically? Look, I'm okay with it.
John.
Look, you look at Captain Luau Bao. You know that guy loves a piece of pizza. I'm okay with it. But they talked about pizza and like really, really shameful stereotypes a lot in that show. It's not a show that would make it today. We would have to have like a PSA about it. I'm surprised there's not a PSA about it being so culturally insensitive before each episode.
If it was on Netflix or some shit, it would be.
Yeah,
there would be like a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I might need to ding here. Is Johnny making a reference to the fact that the show included PSAs?
Tyler, I'll let you know when the jokes happen, okay?
All right. So that wasn't a joke or anything?
No, that was just me talking.
Okay. All right. No ding for that one. I'm going to get us back on track, guys, because we've done a lot of not talking about games this episode. Mario Brothers. The arcade release. The actual
Mario Brothers?
The actual Mario Brothers
Are
in
we talking
arcades.
Are we talking about weird sewer systems that like aren't supported?
They've got turtles. You murder turtles and crabs for some reason, even though you are clearly the one who's not supposed to be here. They're just animals living in the sewers, which is where they belong.
How big are those crabs? Why isn't like that should have been Mario's job, dragging those things up to the surface and making money?
Mario the Fisherman. That's probably a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so all the other bullshit we've talked about since Donkey Kong, because now it's Mario Brothers.
Finally.
The pseudo first appearance of Luigi, because Mario Brothers, the arcade game, was in development before the actual Game & Watch game was. So this is the first time Luigi was worked on as a character, although the game actually came out after the Game & Watch. The actual Mario Brothers arcade game, I believe, was released within one day of the Famicom coming out. That's somewhat interesting. I don't know anything. So I went into all this detail about collecting Donkey Kong variants, because I mean that is the first appearance of Mario, so that's the one you'd want to go super deep on. I don't know anything about Mario Bros. Arcade variants, but there's a wide body cabinet which is wider than a standard Nintendo arcade cabinet. That's the one everyone wants. Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong, both super common arcade games. Everyone should just go buy them. What more people listening to the show will probably buy, though, the 1983 ports, which there are two of, and I'm just going over these two console ports because they're the first ones. Obviously, Mario Brothers got ported to fucking everything, like all these early Mario games did. The first port was in September of 1983. It is the Famicom port. The original release is a Pulse Line cartridge in a small box. So the sort of the black box games of Famicom, all the original releases, they have a Pulse Line cartridge. It has like a heartbeat line on the cartridge.
It's very common on all the Famicom games. You've seen this white line.
Yes. And then later releases of Mario Brothers had a picture cartridge of, early art of Mario and Luigi on it. And then the latest releases on Famicom, it comes in a silver box, a standard sized Famicom box with sort of a silver outline around the whole box. I think that those silver box games often sell for a premium, and I'm not sure why. Like, I think the silver box Donkey Kong I see on Yahoo, it sells for like $100 sometimes, when the regular Donkey Kong can sell for like $50. So I don't know if there's something special about those silver box releases, because to me they're just like random late releases. I would say get the small box Mario Bros. It's $30 to $75 complete. I tried taking a look, but all the ones for sale right now seem pretty wrecked. And then the second 1983 port in December, a few months later, is the Atari 2600 version of Mario Bros. You might have seen certain auction houses hyping it as the first console release of Mario Brothers, which it absolutely is not, because the Famicom version came before it and is a better version of Mario Bros. But the original release of this has it comes in a silver box, and it's got sort of full art, like the entire art on the box is Mario Brothers. It's like $150 complete in box. The sort of middle release, it has a red stripe across the front of the box that says Mario Brothers, and the art is kind of crammed into the bottom part of the box. And then the latest release is that red box re-release, where just the whole box is red. F those games. I hate those red box games so much, just because they're ugly. Later releases, I honestly see more sealed late releases than complete box ones. I would just guess they're somewhere in the range of less than $150. And because this is Mario Bros, and because this Atari version is a game that has a lot of hype behind it right now, sealed prices, I'm sure, are all over the place, despite being Mario Bros, which I'm sure is not the rarest game of all time. I think the original release, like I've seen the original, the first print on Atari 2600, I'm almost positive has sold for well over $20,000.
Yuck.
So to put in context, an Air Raid cartridge, I believe, had a record sale recently of $10,000, which is, it's not literally the rarest Atari 2600 game, but it's as close to a holy grail that is actually obtainable on Atari 2600. That's not like a one-off or a two-off. And it's worth half of what a sealed Mario Brothers is now.
Kind of speaks to where we're at on the investor collection. Totally different markets of people still hanging on to the dream of owning Air Raid. I really wonder who won that Air Raid.
mean,
is it like some guy in his 60s who's like, finally, after 40 years, my life is complete? Or is it just an investor who's going to try to flip it for 20?
Also, the thing about that Air Raid sale, though, is that it was on the Goodwill website, right? Like, I feel like if it was on anything else, basically, it probably would have done a little better.
No.
I think 10 grand for Air Raid is actually a really high sale. I don't remember.
Goodwill produces a lot of head-scratchingly high sales.
Yeah, you're going to say Goodwill produces a lot of money laundering?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you would think that the Goodwill online auctions are a place like, oh, who's going to be watching this? And just everything goes for more than it's worth on like eBay.
Everything. I don't understand. And it's not like this is new. This has been going on for a long time. If you've been collecting for a while, and I mean, we're talking 10, 15 years ago, the Goodwill site, and it has not changed. It's still the same garbage it was back then. I don't understand. I don't know what happens there.
The prices, someone like figured out something where like, if I buy something off Goodwill auctions, like it says Goodwill on my statement, and I could pretend that was a donation, so it's actually tax deductible when I buy this. Like something's going on with Goodwill auctions, but 100% there is money laundering going on there. And our lawyers are telling me that is allegedly there is money laundering going on there. I can't say 100%.
There's some other stuff happening where Mario is just everywhere. He's like doing cameos. And I think the best person to talk about cameos is Stephen Reese, because this guy is all over the place making cameos as well.
That's right. You can find me on Cameo, and I can wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah. Low cost of $5. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I did, however, recently buy a cameo from JoJo Siwa for my daughter. That was worth its weight in gold, let me tell you. But anyway, yeah, so let's talk about cameos. First cameo appearance in a game being Pinball for the Famicom, which also got a black box US release everyone is probably familiar with. Mario is front and center on the American box art, despite the fact that his actual in-game appearance is in this like mini game that, I mean, I guess it's kind of easy to find, right? I mean, you just sink it in that hole in the bottom of the map.
You have to get like, I forgot, you have to get like a certain number of points or something. It's not like if you press random buttons, you'll get there. It takes some work to get, if I remember.
Yeah, the thing that's horrifying about that minigame, so basically it takes you to this little minigame where Mario's got a steel girder that he's holding over his head as the paddle, right? And it's bouncing this steel ball, sort of like like Breakout, right? Where you're trying to hit the bottom of a platform that Pauline is running back and forth across, and then you're supposed to catch her with that girder and then usher her to safety. Oh my god, if you miss and she falls, first of all, it's like an instant game over, which I think is funny. But like there's this, her like, do you remember that Circus Atari game, Tyler?
Of course,
where like your little stick figure, if you miss and it hits the ground, its head flattens out and like its legs are like kicking.
It's horrifying.
There's a very similar like horrifying effect to Pauline's character model if you miss that catch and she like scrunches down and like the game freezes for a minute just so you can like think about what you've done. It's the most horrifying thing, and I would not have remembered that had I not have watched a YouTube video while y'all were talking about Intellivision, and yeah, because that's horrifying, and I'm sure my childhood Stefan has blocked that out or had blocked that out. But yeah, what else do you want to say about this game? It's not terribly. Oh, there's like the matte sticker version. Is there a matte and a gloss sticker version of that game?
Yeah,
You know?
it's a launch game, so the first release is just a matte sticker that everyone on this podcast knows because everyone knows all Super Mario Brothers things.
Yeah.
Woo. Yay.
It's pretty cheap. $20 for the CIB Famicom. We haven't really been doing prices today. $20 for the CIB Famicom version, $25 to $50 on NES for an average one, hundreds for a fancy pants one. I can tell you that Tyler wrote this because no one else says fancy pants on this podcast.
I say fancy pants.
Aw.
You do not.
I do. I say a lot of weird things, Stefan.
And
I talk quite a bit.
All right. All right, well, I'm handing it back off to Johnny for... fun Stefan personal fact on this game. This is why I actually highlighted it as wanting to talk about it. This was one of the 3 games that my mother would play when we were kids, and she would stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, and we couldn't understand why we got the NES, and suddenly she was very tired. She was playing pinball on the NES in the middle of the night. This and Pac-Man were her big 2. Occasionally some Tetris. She did some Tetris too, but yeah, it was Pac-Man and pinball were her go-tos. So
I will tell you, my mother also played this pinball.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
This was one of the first games I ever got because it was a launch title. So I got it when I got my first NES. It was a gift because they got me a bunch of the black box games because that's really all that was available at that time. But yeah, my mom liked pinball. My dad did too. So they thought it was neat that you could play pinball on the Nintendo, and they both played that
future.
Way. Yeah. The future that never happened. People decided they did not want pinball on a digital platform, except for those of us who do. We talked about this last episode. No need to retread that. Anyways, now back to me for some more first appearances in sports games. Hey, Mario is a bit of a slut, as we've said. There's no better way to put it. He gets around and he finds his way into all the code, apparently. So his first appearance in a sport game is apparently tennis back in the Famicom days. So the referee there is January 14th, 1984. It's a launch title. Mario is the referee. He's also on the US box.
Well, it's a launch title on the NES, not the Famicom.
Yes.
Well,
Tyler.
I want to make sure I understand.
No, I appreciate you interjecting and clarifying. So, yeah, that's Tyler. That's not a joke. So don't ring the bell there.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, there's a matte sticker black box version of this game. Mario is everywhere. So while this is his first appearance in a sports game, he goes on to be, as we talked about in the US, golf. He gets into some other Game Boy ones. He's the referee in Punch-Out. Mario is all over the place. He is the franchise, guys. Like it or lump it, he's the man. So that doughy fat Italian is with us forever.
I'm sorry, like it or lump it? Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, like it or lump it. Have you never heard this?
Is that a thing? Stefan?
Yeah.
Referee here, is that a thing?
I hear love it or shove it.
I would understand that.
That's what I hear.
What is lump it? Is lump a verb? I guess I could lump something, but what?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking
about
Go ahead
and Google it and see how quickly
assault.
It comes up.
All right, we're taking a break in the show for like it or lump it.
You're going to get cancer back. I know for sure.
First result is Cambridge.org. All right. The Cambridge Dictionary says, to tell someone to like it or lump it, you mean that person must accept a situation they do not like because it cannot be changed.
There you go.
Mario
do you need to be
is
wearing
the
a monocle to use this phrase?
I think it's a very high-class phrase.
I'm telling you that there's no changing, Mario. So Tyler, I don't know why he questions me on this. Every time he questions me on like some word or language, he gets proven wrong on show or after show. Yeah, like it or lump it.
Yeah, Tyler.
Correct use. Thanks.
Tyler, just stop having opinions.
Oh man,
no, it's not
old.
He can have an opinion, but he should probably not question whether I'm using words right. As
Stop
he's
questioning Johnny. Jesus.
No, he's allowed to question me. I'm just saying his track record, at least on words, is pretty poor. I make a lot of mistakes, but usually on my word choice is pretty good. Unless I misspeak. Yeah. Anyways.
Good words.
I use the best words, the goodest words.
You have the best words, yeah.
I do have the best words, 100%. Anyways, Mario, he's in sports games. He's in a lot of sports games.
Johnny, I'm going to go off script. What's the first Mario sports game? Because tennis doesn't count, golf doesn't count. Because golf didn't turn into Mario Golf. That was a separate thing. What's the actual first Mario sports? Is it Mario Golf?
I mean, it's got to be like on N64, right? I mean, unless you consider Mario Kart.
Well, okay, hold on. Wait.
A sport.
Didn't Mario Golf start on Game Boy Color? Now you're freaking me out. Also, if kart racing is a sport, then it would be Super Mario Kart before then.
Yeah, but yes, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf or Mario Golf at least is on Game Boy Color.
All right, we're doing it live. The Mario Golf came out in August 1999 in Japan, October in America. And what's our other guess? Mario Tennis?
Yeah.
So we're dealing with late 1999 versus 2000 for Mario Tennis. It's definitely Mario Golf.
Hey.
What else?
Mario Tennis 1995, The Virtual Boy.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, we're going there. Yeah, if we thought about this more, we have like 10 more years we get back to the launch of the NES. Sure, Mario's Tennis. There we go. We're just going to say that canonically after a bunch of good research we put into this episode. We're just going to say, yeah, Mario Tennis on Virtual Boy first.
Unless you believe that karting and racing, is racing a sport?
Absolutely. Lewis Hamilton is a goddamn
Mario
athlete.
Kart. Okay, then Mario Kart is the first sports game.
Was that? Yeah, I guess it would have been before 95, right?
What if there's a Mario cameo in F1 race? Well, no, we're looking.
You said not
saying no Mario in the title.
Stop breaking your own rules, Tyler.
Your desire to be right just made you sound crazy.
No, my desire to be contrarian, Johnny.
I genuinely think that it's the Virtual Boy Mario Tennis.
I'm looking through lists
yeah, for
now.
that kind of sport, but if not, it's definitely Mario Kart. Yeah, there's no Mario sports on NES, so yeah.
In Dr. Mario, he's a Mario.
So hard.
Ooh, what about no? NES Open Tournament Golf doesn't count. Mario the Juggler doesn't count. Yeah, it's just Mario Kart. If you're counting that.
Boring.
Boring.
Anyways, let's go on to something that happens after Mario's first appearance in a sports game, and before, before we get to anything else. Let's talk about the biggest one, the real deal, Holyfield, Super Mario Brothers, the game. Everyone, we can talk about everything else, but if you don't talk about Super Mario Brothers, I mean, everything else is fine. Mario is like an all-star. Get it? That's one of the jokes, Tyler.
Hey,
ring the bell. Yeah.
You did, okay, but to be fair, Johnny, you didn't give him a chance on that one.
I told him I would let him know where the joke.
It was just like a 1-2 punch right there.
No, I'm just letting him know. I don't want him to miss any of them. So we've gotten to the point where no joke can be funny because we have to tell him.
Got it.
Yeah. So, anyways, Mario, now I'm digressing completely. Super Mario Brothers. It's the thing that started it all. What do you want to know about it? We've talked it to death. You've seen it sell for $100,000 and more now. Is the $1 million
$600,000? Is that?
Yeah.
Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah, Is the $1 million? Is the $1 million Mario on its way? Could be. Anyways, I guess if you want one, you want that matte sticker one. No barcode, Famicom, FF on Famicom for the first release.
Nope.
Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
Whoa. No. What?
The original Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers on Famicom has no barcode, and then the middle release has a barcode on the back, and the latest releases have FF on the cartridge and on the box. There's a little Famicom logo.
There are a lot of variants for that version of Super Mario Brothers. It's got sweet little box art. It's a nice collectible to throw on your shelf. I probably wouldn't worry about it if that one hasn't hit on the thousands of dollars yet. Probably isn't coming soon. So if you want the Famicom one, you can go grab that. If not, just go find a boxed one if you can. we've talked to death about the many variants of Super Mario Brothers that you can get. Obviously, matte sticker seals or any sticker seal is ideal. Then hang tabs, and then just having circle seals, and then oval seals, and then oval seals with stars are better than that. And then just regular oval seals. It's all gross. Just try and find one with a circle
drink your
seal.
oval seals.
I feel like I don't know. It might be
Thanks for
Super
that
Mario
Ovaltine
Brothers
reference
specifically.
that no one gets.
Hey, you
I
said
got
jokes
it.
aren't
I
allowed
could
to be
ding
funny.
myself on that.
Yeah.
Like Super Mario Brothers has so many variants that people worry about now that it has taken me from being like everything needs to be exactly specifically correct, Tyler. And I look at Super Mario Brothers, I'm just like, it's got a hang tab, it's got a sticker, or is it an oval seal? And beyond that, just like it, I don't care. Oh my god, you guys are talking about all this garbage for like this random middle print of Super Mario Brothers. Am I tired of? I think I have Super Mario Brothers fatigue. I can't say Mario Brothers because that's another big part of this episode. Stefan, do you want to talk about some real collectibles like magazines?
Like magazines? Sure. Yeah, I'll talk about the okay, there's we were talking about this before the show. I do not have a very wide knowledge of international magazines. I actually tried to hit up Frank Cifaldi before this episode, but he did not get back to me in time for this broadcast. So I wanted to find out whether or not this was the first like appearance on the cover of a magazine for Mario. But Nintendo Power #1, which of course features the sculpted cover based on Super Mario Brothers 2 that is famously incorrect colors, unless you're going to say that it's built off of the Mario Brothers sprite, which then I guess it would be correct colors, right? Doesn't he have blue overalls and a hat in Mario Brothers, Tyler? Am I crazy?
Yes, you're correct.
So.
That's still weird and doesn't make any sense. But
I
sure.
guess. Well, so here's the thing. Occasionally, this isn't something that I've actually asked anyone about. I should actually. This might be interesting. But oftentimes, it would be that when reference material was given to an artist for Nintendo Power or anything else, that they would give them in-game reference. So I guess it's in theory possible that they were actually using the Mario Brothers sprite as a reference. It's possible. But I can neither confirm nor deny that. One thing that I do know is that it was notoriously difficult to get the sculpt correct, because I'm fairly certain, or at least those are the accounts are, that this was the first time he was sculpted in 3D. And so just figuring out what does Mario look like in 3 dimensions was challenging for them. This was sculpted by a Will Vinton artist, the studio that did the California Raisins and like the Moonwalker movie, and the very very signature stuff. The Pizza Crunch-a-Bungas, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles commercials. So yeah, lots of stuff. But that's why if you think that this kind of looks a little bit like California Raisins, it's because it's probably sculpted out of the same stuff. It's like an oil clay. This cover, unfortunately, was destroyed. It was sitting in a fish tank in Gail Tilden's office, the founding editor-in-chief of the magazine. And it was one of those corporate moves where, like, they send everyone away for the weekend or whatever. They, like, move the whole office when people are not in the office. And these movers moved the fish tank and dropped it and destroyed it. So those of you who are waiting for me to find this cover, not going to happen. Know for a fact it was destroyed, unfortunately. Fun fact, they also did the homage for this cover as the last cover of Nintendo Power. That cover was sculpted by Leslie Levings and famously mimics the first cover of Nintendo Power there. What else do I want to say about this cover? Recently, it's been very popular to have this magazine graded. What?
The prices of Nintendo Power 1 right now are just
Yeah, considering that they published 3.6 million copies of that magazine, that's striking to me, but whatever. Y'all do your thing. But yeah, that's been high grade CGC graded copies of this book have been doing like 2,000 plus. I'd say conservatively. I'm sure like a 9.4 or whatever probably did higher. But for as many as like I hear people selling them for high prices like that, there's also usually a load of high grade ones, or at least reasonably grade ones, sitting on eBay doing nothing. So
okay, so I was basically getting my oh my god from Facebook because I see people like posting some CGC when they're like want to sell this for $6,000 or something, and like I go on eBay like $50 for a complete garbage one, and like a really nice one looks like it's like $250 right now.
I mean, graded ones have sold for thousands. That's
yeah,
the thing has happened.
I know, but that's for like just like this tippy top of like you can't have a spine tick type condition.
Yeah, correct. That's about all I want to say about that cover. Oh, there's actually a variant of this cover that one says free poster inside, which is the more common one. And then the other one says sample issue, I think, right? Am I making that up? No, sample
free
issue.
Sample issue, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, you're wrong. This isn't the first magazine cover appearance of Mario, because Fun Club definitely has it,
Well,
and I know.
But we decided that wasn't a magazine.
I don't know. Rolling Stone's a magazine, and that came in newspaper form for a long time.
But this was a newsletter. It was like
fine.
4 pages.
All right. Well, also, when did Nintendo Power come out? 1988?
1988.
All right. So Famitsu issue number 2 has Mario on it, and that came out in 1986. And then I found Video Games Magazine, March 1983 issue, has Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. on it. I'm positive there's something before 1986 that must have Mario on the cover.
First Nintendo published magazine with Mario on it.
We're adding we're going down the rabbit hole of like, if we add enough descriptors, anything's a first.
Yep.
Yeah, we will be like a grading company.
Who do you think our audience is, Tyler?
You have to clarify that newsletters are not in fact magazines.
They aren't.
I would have to go to get like technical definitions of magazines to see if I would argue with you. Because I don't know. I don't know, Johnny. I don't have an opinion yet. I could be swayed either way.
Okay. Well, after the show, we can look it up and we can talk about it, okay?
Uh-huh. All right. Stefan, keep going. Tell us about more Mario things.
That's about it for Nintendo Power. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll talk about Super Mario Land. I wanted to talk about this because I recently beat the game for the first time, which is funny because as a kid I had it, right? And I remember it being crushingly difficult, but clearly it's because I was very young. And because I had absolutely no problem beating it in a couple hours.
A couple hours? This game's like 15 minutes long.
It is not 15 minutes long.
It is so short.
No, yeah, but short, but not 15 minutes.
I know. It's got
12 because I can beat
levels.
Star Fox in 19 minutes, and it definitely took me long.
12! How do you put out a Mario game with 12 levels? And 2 of them are shooting levels. Doesn't even count.
So yeah, first handheld game console appearance, right, of Mario.
If we're not considering a Game & Watch a console, I don't know how people are weird about what they call consoles.
That's fair.
Yeah, because they're different than just like newsletters and magazines are different. They're not the same thing.
We'll talk about it, Johnny. We'll talk about it.
What's this green screens note here? I mean, other than the fact that obviously the Game Boy had a green screen.
No, the first print have green screens on the back.
Got it.
So there are at least 2 print runs. I don't like talking about print runs in specific terms because there's always more than we know as collectors.
Earlier prints.
But there's 2 major print runs that have green screens. So you look at the warranty on the side. There's a shorter warranty and a longer warranty. So if it says for sale and use in United States and Canada and Mexico, then you have the bad one. That's the second print. That's the one that I have. If it doesn't have that for sale and use line, you've got the good one. That's the first print. So yeah, green screens alone. I mean, I think it's like one of those sticker things where it's like, yeah, green screens is still cool. If you have a gloss sticker, it's still cool, but you want to get the firsty first. Because the firsty first is what matters, right, Johnny? No silver
Absolutely.
medals on Collector's Quest, even though the silver medal's the one I've got.
Yeah.
Another fun thing, Shigeru Miyamoto not involved with Super Mario Land. It was, I know it was produced by Gunpei Yokoi, but so if you don't like it, which it's all right, but if you don't think it's up to par with other Mario games, just blame it on the fact that Shigeru Miyamoto wasn't involved. Just completely ignoring the fact that it's like an entire platformer on a console that launched with like Alleyway and Golf as other launch titles.
Which also featured Mario.
Whoa! Alleyway features Mario. I don't believe you, Stefan.
He does. He's in the thing. Spaceship?
He's in the Vouse?
Is that what that is?
Tyler did not know this, and I
absolutely didn't know it. Also, it's not the Vouse because it's Arkanoid. Hunter, yeah, I don't look at box arts closely. I'm not like an art connoisseur like Stefan is. But yeah, in the little paddle
I don't
for
have
Alleyway.
eyes like Stefan.
Yeah. What? Mario's just chilling in the paddle. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think that box art is like 100 times cooler. I think I have an Alleyway, and now I want another Alleyway. I want to go find a green screens Alleyway now, because I know Mario's in there.
You should.
Yeah.
You should do this. Anyways, guys, did you know that Mario has been in a lot of things?
No, I think that's about it. So what do we get up to? When Super Mario Land? Was that like 1989?
That was the last Mario game, right?
Nope.
Nobody
went off into the sunset, and it's just like Pirates of Dark Water. We never heard from him again.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Why, Tyler?
Now you've made half of our listeners sad.
I was having such a nice podcast.
Oh, well, if you're getting sad when you're thinking about this, there's a place you can go. Pirates of Dark Water rules on Facebook. Rules with a Z. You'll meet a lot of like-minded people who you can commiserate with.
Or you can join our Patreon, and there's a special room for you, and that's patreon.com/collectorsquest, where you can join for anywhere from $2 to $6, and they come with varying benefits. So check that out. And there's a bunch of sad people at the $6 tier who would love to talk to you about Pirates of Dark Water. Speaking of, are you guys ready to start watching Pirates of Dark Water? I've got mine loaded up and ready to go. I'm ready to get into it.
I'm ready to do a podcast about it.
Can I just get it on Amazon?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, I think. If not, you can get it on iTunes.
All right. Yeah, all right. I could do it.
Or you could be like me, like years ago when I bought the bootleg DVDs off eBay.
Great.
So there are some, before we go too far down that line, there are some other interesting, like, weird Mario first that you can talk about. And everyone's like, oh man, if you want to get the first voiced Mario, you're like, oh, it's clearly going to be something like, I don't know, Mario 64 or something where he kind of talks and has words for the first time. But no, some people are going to come up and argue with you and say, get the Gottlieb pinball machine from 1992, because that's the first Mario voice, and it's Charles Martel, and he's doing it. Except Tyler will tell you about what is it, typing with Mario or some garbage like that.
I hate this fact.
Mario teaches typing.
I hate this for two reasons. I hate the Gottlieb pinball fact. For like three reasons. So number one, the Gottlieb Super Mario Brothers pinball.
The Super Mario show predates it 1999 or 1989, and Captain Lou Albano is the voice of Mario clearly before this.
Clearly.
That's not a game. We're only talking about games. Game & Watches are games. They're not video games. They're games.
So this is the first voiced Super Mario game. You got to put another qualifier on it.
So wait, Super Show really predated the pinball machine?
Yeah, it's 1989.
Yeah.
When did the pinball machine come out?
1992.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, that's way after. All right. Captain Lou Albano, the voice of Mario.
Swing your arms from side to side.
You know what? I bet you there's probably some like Japanese commercial or something where he's voiced.
Yeah. We got a ton of weird NES commercials here, so probably. Anyway, Stefan, your pinball fact I hate for a lot of reasons. One, I think the Super Mario Brothers pinball sucks. It looks awesome. It is not fun to play. Two, you knew a pinball fact that I didn't, and I hate that.
That's why I love this fact.
So, 3, the pinball machine is voiced by Charles Martinet, who is like the voice of Mario. And my fun fact is that in Mario Teaches Typing, the original MS-DOS release is the first video game voice of Mario, is Mario Teaches Typing, the DOS release, and it's not Charles Martinet. So my fact is like, oh, did you know that the original voice of Mario is actually not Charles Martinet, but when they re-released Mario Teaches Typing on the CD-ROM version, it is Charles Martinet. But that doesn't matter because the pinball machine is him and it predates Mario Teaches Typing. So my guy is just some ass that had like this weird one-round middle game.
Tyler, do you know how fulfilling it is when I get to like push up my glasses at you and be like, no, you and your fun fact.
Oh, my stupid fact. The pinball fact is so much better. What was he doing voicing a pinball machine, man?
Making that money.
Get that cheddar.
Oh.
None of that matters because really it's Captain Lou.
And really, it's Captain Lou. Like, I never thought about it like that. I like having my opinion changed. And that is a much both funner and funnier fact. So excellent. Yeah. Although now the obvious next course of action is to go search through Japanese Famicom commercials. Or even, I don't know if there's like arcade
now you got to start to get early appearances of Captain Lou back in his pre-WWF days. When he was before, like, if you don't know the history of wrestling, and clearly Tyler doesn't, there was basically a bunch of thank you, ding, you can ring it right there, Tyler.
All right.
Wrestling was a bunch of fiefdoms that were not like really broadly broadcast. They were just like little like pop-ups in certain cities and areas that kind of traveled like circuses to some extent until the WWF brought them all together. And that's when Vince McMahon actually took control of it by buying out his father and then buying up other like small ones. But Captain Lou was like the big name in an earlier thing before he went to WWF. And part of that was with the help of like WWF making its name because it got launched with Cyndi Lauper, of all people, who had a chance meeting with Captain Lou on a plane once. And as MTV was coming up, Cyndi Lauper was finally starting to hit, as the kids say. And she knew Captain Lou, and she brought him into her video for Girls Just Want to Have Fun as the disapproving father. And then when MTV was, and Vince McMahon were bringing wrestling to Times Square in New York, they needed someone from the MTV crowd. And since Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou were friends, they brought Cyndi Lauper in as a manager, and Captain Lou was like a heel manager as well. Crazy times in the 80s.
He and a bunch of wrestlers too was in Cyndi Lauper's video for the Goonies theme song too, right?
Yeah. She made friends with them through that. She was on a random trip to Cuba, and she happened to sit by Captain Lou, and they became friends. Before WWF, before she made it big or anything, they became friends. It was a random plane trip. They weren't like close friends or anything. They just met on this plane, had a good experience with each other. And then as their lives went on, they happened to get intertwined in this thing as MTV and WWF were merging to like it wasn't the brawl that ended all. I think that was the second one. There's some other one in Times Square that predates that as MTV was coming into its own and WWF was coming into its own. Because WWF's original name was the WWF, Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and worldwide being two different words. And now then they shortened it to WWF, which then, ran up into the some copyright issues, and then they changed their name to WWE. So anyways, Captain Lou. Now you need to go. The point of this is you need to go find all that early Captain Lou merch and maybe some Cyndi Lauper merch to get your collection plus up. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. So far, I took that opportunity to go look at Famicom commercials, and so far the earliest one I can see, unfortunately, is Super Famicom, where it's a stop motion commercial. And Mario is singing, but it is indeed from 1990, so that would not predate Captain Lou. So,
right,
so far,
OG.
So far, Captain Lou is the OG. So far,
that's right. Come on, everybody, let's do the Mario.
I'm actually like genuinely interested in this now. So if anybody does, if you're sitting there pushing up your glasses at us because you know of an earlier voice for Mario, I am genuinely interested now.
So the problem is, once you find that Japanese commercial, you're then going to have to find who voiced that Japanese commercial. Could you just like sick Frank Cifaldi on that? Does he go down rabbit holes like that, or does that not matter to him?
Usually not for things that aren't actually video games.
Oh,
his deep rabbit
Mario,
holes.
This
usually.
is important.
But maybe
I'm not going to look at like a Lou Albano, like a video of him as a child. I'm like, those were Mario's first words.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, Stefan, I know your death radar is probably pinging like, should I go get Captain Lou's signature right now?
Oh, he's been dead for a while.
He's 2009, so it's been a little while. So sorry guys, he's no longer with us.
I bet.
If you're just finding that out and it hurts, I'm sorry. There's a place you can go if you're sad. We've already told you about this.
You probably get a signed card. Cards are real hot right now.
Yeah,
I can see there's like you get one for $200.
There's no shortage of his signature on eBay.
How did you get into like talking about like 1960s territory wrestling promotions? Like the one type of wrestling like I just don't give a about. I don't know anything about. Damn it, Johnny.
Because we're talking about Captain Lou. And I said, if you want to get into the history of Captain Lou, like people go down rabbit holes like yourself. They're like, okay, well, that was his first thing. Maybe I should go get his true first thing. Like, where was he? What kind of wrestler was he? Like, where is he from? Oh, he was born in Rome, Italy. I didn't know that. God, Captain Lou was kind of old. Oh, he's dead now. Okay. I'm just letting people know. And he was born in Italy. He is actually an Italian playing Mario.
Oh, okay. So hold on. Correction. Mario is canonically Japanese, I thought.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure that is the case.
Well,
I don't remember why, but I mean,
well,
this could be something I read on a wiki somewhere that someone made up. Maybe he's from the Mushroom Kingdom, but by everything we've talked about, he doesn't seem like he was born in the Mushroom Kingdom.
He was not born in the Mushroom.
Yeah.
Haven't you been listening, Tyler?
I have. All right.
And if you watch the Super Mario Super Show, he is definitely an Italian plumber. He's Mario, and there's Papa Mario and Luigi Mario and a whole family of Marios.
Wait, is Papa Mario in the Super Show?
I don't know.
Because Papa Mario is in the Mario anime. Which might predate Lou Albano.
I know in the live action segments they had cousins, which was, of course, it was them dressed as women because that was appropriate.
Oh boy!
And but I don't remember if they ever had the parents show up.
All right.
I mean, I know he all like Mario references his parents, like Mama Luigi or Mama Mario cooking and stuff like that in the show. But I don't remember if we ever actually see them.
I'm reading some Wikipedia nonsense, and it says Mario is drawn, particularly with his large nose, on Western influences. And once he became a plumber, Miyamoto decided to put him in New York and make him Italian.
All right. I mean, I have to read the source of Wikipedia, but I'll believe you that Mario is Italian, but lives in New York? Where's New Donk City? What is going on? Mario's never in America.
Unless you watch the Super Show. This kid, Stefan, why hasn't he seen the Super Show?
Why are you talking about shit you don't know shit about, Tyler?
Oh my God. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I only care about video game appearances.
You know what? I'm offended right now. You've offended me to my core. I'm not going to take it anymore. Stefan, this kid has never swung his arms from side to side or attempted to do the Mario.
That's the one thing I know from the Super Show, though.
Oh,
I have swung my arms from side to side.
Yeah?
And done the Mario.
Come on, everybody. Let's do the Mario.
Yeah.
You didn't even know it was called the Mario rap.
Come on, everybody. It's time to go do the Mario. You're getting the lyrics wrong, even. I know the Mario better than you know the Mario. And that plays after every episode.
There's two. The end credit and the start song are different.
They are very different.
Guys, we need to. I don't care about wrapping the show down, but if there's someone who just listens to like this hoping for some information, can we cut it off? Let's make it very clear. We got no more Mario appearances, no more research on Mario dates or cool stuff. Hotel Mario's the first game with extensive voice-acted dialogue between Mario characters, but it's not the first show because the Mario Brothers Super Show and that weird anime in Japan, whatever that was, Mario 64 is the first 3D Mario. I think we all know that.
And
one
there's
selling for
Super
$100,000 right now.
First Mario as a baby is in Super Mario World 2.
Are you 100% sure on that?
No, absolutely not. Why would
I would guess that probably, right?
Yeah. Also, the first Super Mario World was on the Super Nintendo. Because
Are you
the
sure
other ones
about
were
that?
lands. Yeah, the others
What
were
if the
lands.
Nintendo Super System version came out first?
I have no idea.
It absolutely didn't, because I looked it up when I bought one because I wanted it to be first so bad, but it's not even close.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the earliest thing that could be tangentially linked to Mario in any way, Ball. Is Ball the first Game & Watch? Yes, it is.
Yes.
1980. Ball was remade with Mario. Multiple times, was it? So was it in
Nintendo Fun. It was a Nintendo giveaway.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of.
The
Okay,
Nintendo
yeah.
one.
Anyway, so Ball is tangentially linked to Mario, and that's from 1980. So the first heir of Mario that you can get is the Ball Game & Watch. So everyone should be going buying that.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, there's a couple collectibles you can still go get. Super hot right now. There's that new Mario Game & Watch released a year ago that stopped being sold unless you walk into any Target in the world. And you know, the new Mario All-Star Collection, first Mario compilation on the Super Nintendo, unless you count Donkey Kong Classics as being a compilation. Who knows? Anyways, the Switch one, super hot collectible that one day will be worth thousands that you should go out and get now while you still can. Make sure you pay at least $100.
Do not pay any less.
Yeah, not real advice. Do not take that.
Someone's listening to this in like 2075, and they're like, $100. I wish those were the days.
Yeah, those guys, they had it good.
Hey, I learned a new Mario fun fact just now reading internet stuff.
Okay.
There was in 1989, there was a Super Mario Brothers at the Ice Capades. This is on YouTube. The whole thing is on YouTube. And it is starring in like these live action segment cutaways, starring Jason Bateman and Alyssa Milano.
That is kind of amazing.
It is kind of amazing. I will link it in our chat. But also, it's it's
I
Super
can't
Mario
collect
Brothers at the
that.
Ice
Is there like a
Capades.
collector's cup from that event
Shut
that I can
up.
collect?
So, yes.
It was
Speaking
just a
of
cool thing.
Speaking of collector's cups, there's a very collectible Super Mario 2 cup you can buy. It's a big old mug. It's gigantic, and you might see it in some people's collection. It is something I owned as a kid and had with me as I watched the Super Mario Super Show. And while that was fine, what I was really there for was the Zelda episodes and all of the Excuse Me princesses I could get. So... anyways, go find that mug. It's awesome. It's big, and it's glass, and you've seen it before.
But is it the first mug?
Yes.
Oh, well, all right.
So, it is collectible. It's a cup. You can buy it. You asked, I delivered.
All right.
All right.
That's Mario. So we got just a cool hour and a half. I don't even know. Like, this episode makes no
That was
sense. I have no idea how much
every
we talked
Mario
about Mario
product ever made.
That's every Mario product ever made.
Yep.
No.
Mario Pinball Land, is that the first Mario pinball game where Mario is the pinball? I mean, that's a key
I mean,
one.
it's
Mario-
clearly it's a sequel to Pinball.
First Mario Pinball with land in the title.
Oh, is Mario Pinball Land a Super Mario? Is part of the Super Mario Land series?
Sure.
That's what we landed on.
I gotta put in a bell sound effect right there.
All right.
Bye. Sorry.
No, we have collectors' questions, and we got to go to the other part of the show.
All right, we gotta do some
Sorry.
collector's I was trying to figure out a way we
I
can
was
make.
just trying it on for size, Johnny. I was just trying it on for size.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, do you want to do the buy this episode? Do you think people will be okay with that?
I don't know.
Do you want to give it a shot?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what?
I do.
Okay. All right. You can do it.
Now I'm nervous.
All right. Don't f it up.
Okay. but we still got more to do. So I'll try to get less nervous.
Yeah. So seriously, guys, go Google that mug. You can see it. Like you can find. They are like $70. It's like a collectible mug, and they are gigantic. They are not like a reasonable.
Yeah, they're
mug.
like a Stein.
Yeah, and I had one of these as a kid, and they are probably from around 1989. Is that when Mario 2 came out? Because there was something about 1989. Mario was popping off.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can find okay ones for like the $30 range, but then like shipping's a nightmare. And then as high as like $70. So. But they are pretty hardy. That's why so many of them are still available because they are thick.
Thick.
THICC and also THICK.
I'll be too scared to break my mug if I had a $70 mug, Johnny. And I don't want to drink coffee out of an ugly $30 mug because then I would be like, oh, gross, this is an ugly mug.
And then people would know that you're poor.
I mean,
issue.
it's conditioned and shipping dependent. You can find like if you find one locally, you can probably get it for like $30, $40.
I like nice shiny clear mugs actually.
Okay. If you really want to buy expensive mugs that are like you wouldn't think are collectible, you can buy the Starbucks You Are Here Disney mugs, which if you don't know what those are, Starbucks has a whole line of You Are Here, and then they like kind of changed the name. These mugs that if you go to any state, the state has like its own mug, and some cities have their own mug in countries. They usually like the art is like, it's pretty minimalist art style. I like them a lot. That's like a good sized mug. It's pretty hardy. But if you get the one specifically from Disneyland or Disney World, and they've had multiple iterations where they change it, like the earlier mugs that are all discontinued now, pretty pricey. Like
the relief mugs. I love those mugs.
Yeah, I've got like a couple of mugs downstairs that we use on a daily basis that are like over $100. And I'm just like, well, if we ever break one of these, I'm never buying another one because that's ridiculous.
Heather and I wanted to buy back when they had the relief mugs. And when I say relief mugs, they're basically they're the You Are Here series, but like they're embossed or whatever, like they're 3D-ish, right? And we were gonna try to collect all of them. Except that because they would not just do like, states or larger territories. Like there's not a China mug. There is like 50 or 60 different China mugs because it's like for each province, right? And so once we realized how many of the international territories had like 20 plus different mugs, we kind of lost steam for that.
Yeah. So what you got to do is just keep it to the Disney ones, and then you'd be okay. And then make sure you get the one with the purple monorail. They had to change the color of it for Epcot because it was right after a tragedy where someone died on that monorail. So then
purple.
Yeah, so they changed the color. I know I'm just agreeing with your nonsense stuff. Just in case anyone thinks you slipped that one past me. You can buy these mugs with, like, if you want to spend $150, you can get it with the purple monorail, but then they re-released it later. Now you can get it for like $35. Go check them out. There's a lot of things going on, and they keep changing the mugs. They update them every so often. So
yeah, I'm not crazy about the new ones.
Some of them are really good. Some of them are really poor. They also have them
so pretty.
For they have them like for Disneyland Paris and Tokyo. You can my wife and I's going thing is whenever we go somewhere, we get a mug that's like our stock souvenir because you can get them from anywhere. And the one I'm sad, my one from Paris, because it's got like an X-wing on it. It looks like it's fine, but there's something in the seal is wrong because it will just slowly leak from the bottom, which makes me sad. I also have a good one with the Haunted Mansion.
I'm cutting all of this. I don't know what is happening. I feel bad interrupting you guys. I try to keep like this. I know people are going to want to listen to this show because people are into Mario right now, and they're listening to you talk about your Starbucks mugs collection. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the is happening right now? We're not in After Dark. This is the podcast about video games.
Why are you such a sassy Sally today?
It's my brand, Johnny.
It is kind of his brand.
Do you want to move on to collector's questions, Johnny?
I do. I was trying to get there earlier.
Are there
and you were
any
like,
questions about mugs?
Yeah.
There's not.
Okay.
Benny G asks, what are some of y'all's favorite bands and musicians? Is listening to music a part of anyone's life? How about concerts? Love the podcast, guys.
I've never listened to music in my life.
Music sucks. I'm not for it.
I am not for
I'm
it.
not for, I just disagree with
I
you.
am against. I am not for. I am against.
All right, next question then.
Oh no, Tyler likes Will Smith.
I do like Will Smith.
Yeah, why don't you
His
go
favorite.
first, Tyler?
My life is listening to like Iron Maiden and Bruce Dickinson, which is all I've listened to since high school, and I've overplayed every song, or every song is overplayed. So I just listen to a song, and I'm like, I don't feel like listening to this right now, and then I skip 5 songs, and then I put on a podcast.
So what is the newest song you own?
Like Iron Maiden still makes music, so it would be their
What are
latest
you
album.
playing
Book of
on your
Souls.
Victrola?
So like the newest song you have is an Iron Maiden. Like that's it. Like how many? Like if we went and looked at your thing, do you have like a lot of different bands on your list? Like what do you got?
Iron Maiden, The Offspring. Those are the only 2 I could think of. I've got some.
Wait, you can think of only Iron Maiden and The Offspring as your musical catalog?
Well, Bruce Dickinson's solo career is also excellent.
Okay. Which Offspring album, Tyler?
Well,
it
there's only
pains me to
3
even
good
ask.
ones, Johnny.
Okay,
Americana.
that's stretching it.
What?
I said that's stretching it. Go ahead.
Very
Americana, Ixnay on the Hombre, and Conspiracy of One. Which
Did you say hombre?
Hombre? I don't.
Fucking white person?
God damn it.
Hello,
I don't know.
hombres.
Hombre?
I don't think that's a beloved era of the Offspring, but I don't really know. I don't talk to people about music. I don't know. I like Nightwish, like Slayer, like Nas, Michael Jackson. What do you want?
You go from
Jurassic
Slayer to Nas?
Yeah.
Like, is Rain in Hell in your top list, or like what? How are you feeling about Rain in Hell?
Yeah, Rain in Hell's great. I think I've only got Seasons in the Abyss in my car right now.
Wait, do you? Oh, that's right. You don't have a modern phone, so you don't just have all of your songs with you when you drive places.
No, my car is very modern. It accepts a little USB drive, Johnny.
For his iPod Nano.
Because it's not like I have my phone. Yes, for my iPod Nano, exactly.
There's
I don't. This just.
talk about this.
We should just turn this question into a podcast.
I thought this was going to be a 2-second question. You guys are like, well, you can't just listen to one band.
Well, we want to
Tyler.
know about you, Tyler.
Yeah, we're exploring you. People should know what a weirdo
Yeah.
you are. Like, what's the best Offspring song, and why is it
Johnny,
you got to keep them
I don't think we
separated?
need this question for people
That's
to know
not even
what
the
a
name
weirdo
of the song.
I know. That's why I said it to you.
Isn't that Come Out and Play?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
And it's actually a pretty topical song if you listen to the words. But it doesn't matter. Tyler, is it their best song?
No, I like All I Want from Crazy Taxi. That's pretty good.
From Crazy Taxi.
From Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, from Crazy Taxi.
All right.
That's the one. Way Down the Line.
All right. So that's Tyler's weirdo music list. We call it, the playlist is Music for Serial Killers. You can find it on Tyler's USB stick.
Correct.
It's not even, you can't even make a Spotify playlist. You old man. What is wrong with you? Stefan, go. What about you? What do you got musically? Are you a weirdo?
So, first of all, I could listen to 90s alternative pretty much all day, like anything. I know Johnny hates that I listen to K-Rock on the radio.
Yes, because one, it's a horrible company. 2, it helped destroy music, and all they play is songs. It's not like an alternative like rock station from the 90s. It considers itself a rock station, and they're like, "Hey guys, have you heard of this band Nirvana? They're current. Let's play them. What about Sublime? Yeah, you guys like them, right? Let's play those back to back all day long."
My taste, like when I specifically choose
also,
to listen
to the radio. You listen to the radio in your car.
You're
like an
talking to
old
me about my
man.
USB stick. He listens to the f***ing radio.
I know.
What is
Trust
it?
me.
1909?
Yeah, dude, we're driving to a show, and it's like, 8777 cars for kids. I'm like, why am I hearing a radio commercial? Well, I could have got a lemon. I'm like, holy fuck, I left this behind in 2003 and never looked back. Why are you doing this to me, Stefan? And he's like, oh, K-Rock plays some good jams, Johnny. Listen to this current music. You might enjoy it, fella. It's awful.
So aside from my taste in radio play, when I choose to listen to things, I have kind of at different stages in my life been in very different places and sort of built this kind of odd cross section of things that I enjoy. Like one of my favorite bands is KMFDM, a German industrial band, which is not necessarily outside of that band something that I listen to. Like I'm not like real into industrial music, but I love KMFDM. Similarly, though, I mean, there are a couple bands that I guess you could probably say are comparative. Like I listen to a lot of Nine Inch Nails. I listen to a lot of Tool. Green Day is actually probably one of my favorite bands of all time. It was the first, Dookie was the first CD I think I bought ever. Oh, you know what? No, actually, I think it was the Lion King soundtrack. But the first not soundtrack CD I ever bought was Dookie. See what else. Current favorite band is probably Cake. I like Cake an awful lot. I've seen them a bunch of times. I've been listening to a lot of She Wants Revenge recently. I know not a super topical band, but yeah, that's my musical taste.
But Johnny, tell me about what the perfect music taste is. What's your music taste?
Oh no, it's not. No. My music taste is incorrect because I largely don't listen to music. I pick up music in the background of things.
Oh, like on KMFDM or whatever your radio station is.
K-Rock, yeah. KROQ. K-Rock in the morning. Yeah, it's awful. So my musical taste is all over. If you talk to Johnny as a child, I didn't listen to music. Like music wasn't really in our house, so it wasn't a thing. We liked the Beach Boys, and the Beatles. And it wasn't really for any good reason. My parents also liked like doo-wop quite a bit, so they were into that. Like they were really into that era of music.
Lots of K-Earth in your house?
Yeah, a lot of K-Earth when they listened to it. But also the Beach Boys, the drummer for the Beach Boys at the time lived close to where my grandparents lived. So we always just kind of listened to them. Also, it's Southern California and the Beach Boys are kind of a thing. So that was like a thing. And the Beatles are the Beatles. So that was like child Johnny music. That and like some weird Foreigner tape I had. So my first tape was Foreigner, and then the one I bought was MC Hammer. So that was exciting. So I had that and Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill. Those are my three first tapes. So, and I got them
Johnny,
all at a very similar time. Yeah.
Do you remember your first tape that you wore out?
Yeah, Licensed to Ill.
You know what mine was?
What?
That's the Simpsons album. Do you remember when they did the one that had like Do the Bartman on it and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wore that tape out.
Yeah, but even as a child, wasn't super into music except for the Beastie Boys. I was super into that. And then like CDs, my first CD is pretty embarrassing. It was Mariah Carey. I didn't ask for that CD. I was given it, but I had a CD player, so I wanted to play it. So I wound up listening to Mariah Carey quite a few times because I only owned the one CD and it did not have a tape deck. It was just a CD player, which was kind of weird. But after that, that's like me at 11 and 12. But yeah, I started to get really into Black Sabbath and Metallica, and then it's the 90s as well. So Nirvana was and is still one of my favorite bands. I wasn't so much a Pearl Jam guy, but I did like Soundgarden quite a bit. A lot of that alt rock stuff, some Megadeth, some of the metal that Tyler was talking about, Slayer. Like all that was kind of okay, but it was fine. I got like pretty into White Zombie for a while. Yeah, that was kind of like young me. Like I wanted hard, angry metal and Nirvana and, just angry songs because I was so angry. And then, I just kind of branched out. Now it's like whatever I find that catches a beat, like you might find, not that I think she's great or anything, but you could find Kesha on my phone You could find Kelly Clarkson on my phone, Sabrina Carpenter, Ingrid Mickleson. You might find all kinds of people. You might find some Gwen Stefani in there, Marina and the Diamonds, some Sia.
I'm sorry. So with all this, how's Mariah Carey embarrassing? 5-time Grammy Award winner Mariah Carey.
Well, like when you're talking about like a 13 or like a 12-year-old boy, like your first CD, you don't think of Mariah Carey.
My first CD was Backstreet Boys' Back in Black, Johnny.
I mean, that's pretty fine. A lot of people my
feel
age
less bad about my Lion King soundtrack.
Kyle Collects asks, a lot of comparisons have been made lately in this community between comic collecting and video game collecting and where video games are going. I find these discussions interesting, so I'm asking this. If you guys could prevent video game collecting from following one trend of comic collecting, what would it be?
Tyler?
So, mine's easy. Well, I mean, there's like the rampant speculation in comics. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm buying PS2 horror game.
Multiple Mondays is the only answer.
No, that's not even it. So there's the rampant speculation. Like, there are people who are like, PS2 horror games are going to go up. I'm going to buy all the PS2 horror games. In comics, from what I can tell, you're like, Spider-Man issue 358 is going up. I'm going to buy 75 copies of Spider-Man issue 358, which that's just a random number. But the amount of multiples you buy in comics is just crazy, it seems like.
So how is that not mean what I just said? Stefan, do you understand?
No, that's not my answer. My answer is the most collectible things in comics are these slabbed books that you don't read. And like, when you think of Golden Age books, like, I could think of the first appearance of Captain America, and the only thing that comes to my brain is the cover or whatever. And like, I'm not even a comic guy. It seems like there's in the comic people that we're talking about, the predominant way to collect is to collect these slabbed books. And I don't know, there's no way for me to say the answer without gatekeeping. Like, it's almost like the contents of the comics don't matter, and it's just like that people collect like a book and they're like, oh, it has a great cover, because I don't know anything that goes on in the issue besides that on the slab it says it's the first appearance of so-and-so. And so much of that is that, like, the comic doesn't matter. It's just like some historical tidbit is all that comic collecting is, or, some cool cover or something like that, and the actual contents don't matter.
All right, Stefan, do you have a different answer than that? What do you got?
Yeah, because I wanted something that wasn't intrinsically linked to grading, because I figured that was going to come up from someone else. And this is one that I think this is more in the spirit of the question, where they were asking something that you could prevent, and I took that to mean something that was not already true. So I would really not like. Games do it a little bit with intentional, like, collectible variants. Comics do it a lot. Every issue of anything, especially publishers like IDW, you see like, oh yeah, there'll be like, basically IDW allows like any retailer, basically anyone with enough money, can make a variant cover for a comic. So for these bigger comic releases, these like events, you'll see like, oh, this so-and-so retailer will have their variant comic cover, and if you want it, you have to buy it, and they only made, you have to buy it from them, and they only made like 1,000. In fact, it got so bad there was a Godzilla cover that IDW did, and they had so many. So basically, they did a retailer incentive where it was Godzilla's foot on the cover, and so basically you could pay to have a cover variant for your comic store. So like the comic store owners would pay to have Godzilla's foot crushing a picture of their comic book store. They had so many of those that they actually put out a book of just those covers. And so like that's a trend that, like, I understand, yes, like video games do variant covers, but like I would never want it to be like so rampant that like it would just be like impossible for you to get every variant of a game. That would not make me happy at all.
I say f it, modern collectors, limited run games, all this nonsense. I want it to get as crazy as possible. because there's no reason something should be collectible just because it exists. You could just ignore it, and people need to learn to just ignore crap like that. They don't have to collect everything.
No, you got to get it all. And I already said my answer. It's multiple Mondays. It encourages the worst impulses of the community. And everything else springs from some of those ideas and impulses. So that's my answer.
It's so in relation to the multiple comics thing, it's not just that people are like, oh, this is a good investment. I think that whatever this version of Super Mario Brothers 2 is going to be worth twice as much in so and so time. I should buy as many of these. Fine. It's like the masturbatory posting about it, and everyone's like self-congratulating each other on like, oh man, everyone's gonna make so much money. It's a weird attitude about it, but I don't know. It's just
not good.
It's not for me. Those are two questions that took like what, a fucking half hour. So
yeah,
what are you buying? What are you playing, guys?
I'll go first because mine's really short.
Oh, all right.
I have not got anything in. I have bought stuff, but it's not in yet, so doesn't count yet. I will tell you the bad news, guys. I told you about it on the last episode. My Ghoul Patrol, not Ghoul Patrol. Man, my brain just failed me.
Zombies?
I bought no.
Oh. Well, you said Ghoul Patrol, so
I know. I bought. It's a gun game, and my brain is not there. Ghoul Panic. There we go. Ghoul Panic. Anyways, it's a Namco gun game that was released in Europe. Anyways, I went to have it shipped in my shipment, and they're like, oh, hold on, that's a dangerous item. We can't ship a gun. So we're in talks right now on how my forwarder on how to get me this item. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to take the gun out of the box and throw it away, which isn't really a big deal. What are you going to do? I'll still accept the box without the gun. So just,
sucks.
I think that's what we're going to have to get to. I'm a little annoyed, but they're like talking about like, we may have to destroy it. And I'm like, what? So when we talk about why the Max gun for the Super Nintendo might be difficult, just imagine that my Namco gun, they labeled as dangerous. So imagine trying to ship something that looks like the gun that isn't an M16, but a takeoff of the M16. Anyways, so yeah, nothing's arrived yet, and I've only played a small amount more of Mass Effect. I cleared one more planet and got some ore, and that was like really what I've done on Mass Effect since last we talked. Not a lot. It's been very busy in other aspects of my life. So that's it.
I got, I think, like one game in the mail. I got the TRS-80 release of Microsoft Adventure, and I already got both PC variants. It is the first IBM PC game that was ever released commercially. The first version of it, though, was the TRS-80 version of it. It's the first commercial home port of Colossal Cave Adventure. It's the first game Microsoft ever published. It's the second computer game to ever come in a box instead of a baggie. Yeah, it is. It's a cool game to own. And then
It's got a cool cover too.
oh my god, it's got like this horrible like lizard thing. Like, is it supposed to be a dragon? But it's something. Stefan probably knows who drew it because it's signed. Stefan, have you seen the cover of Microsoft Adventure?
no.
All right. Well, it's got a cool lizard dragon that looks really dumb. It's illustrated art. I'll paint a word picture. It looks like someone took an iguana and glued wings on it and then used camera perspective tricks to make the people next to it look small. But it's an illustration, so it doesn't need to have like this cheap B-movie look. It could just look like a dragon. So I don't know why it looks like that.
Oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah. You should go you should go get it. You guys have Microsoft Adventure, right? Everyone is into the history of Microsoft games.
Nope.
TRS-80.
Nope.
Johnny, I've got the perfect game for you. I brought it up on one or two shows ago. So there's a team of people that have recreated the physics of Super Monkey Ball. So there are Super Monkey Ball clones that get like
Haven't I talked enough about monkeys today?
So hold on, I'm getting there. There are Super Monkey Ball clones. One's called like Paper Ball on Steam, it gets like 85% of the way to feeling like Monkey Ball, which just makes it feel like the biggest rip-off game. Like everything just feels wrong because you only feel the 15% that doesn't feel exactly like Super Monkey Ball. So this game rolled out, it's like 99% the same physics as Super Monkey Ball. It feels amazing. And Johnny, the default character is a rat. It's not a monkey. So you can play Monkey Ball with a rat. Does it sound appealing now?
No.
Well, I don't know how to please you. So anyway.
I can tell you later in the After Dark portion of this show.
Okay, you don't like rats
Wow,
either.
weird.
You just
No,
don't
no,
love any
rats.
animals. The level design is not as good as Super
animals.
Monkey Ball.
No, I just don't enjoy that type of game. So it's like I also don't like Marble Madness or anything. So
All right, someone. I was thinking like Marble Madness last episode, and then I like quickly had to backtrack it because I actually do like Marble Madness, and you actually don't like Marble Madness, huh?
it's fine. Like I've played a bunch of them, and I've played some Monkey Ball. Like they're okay, but it's not the kind. I like narrative gaming, so I want a story, and the stories provided in those are a little weak. And if I want just a platformer, I'm probably playing like a Mario. So and that game lives in some other space, which is like a skill tester, like building a weird skill, and doesn't do it. It's not like awful or anything. It's not really for me.
All right, well I tried, and I totally misunderstood why you didn't like Monkey Ball because I just thought you had this really weird thing about monkeys.
I mean, that is the worst part of it. Like also like Marble Madness, playing it like with Nintendo controllers was kind of awful. Playing with the trackball was interesting. I've seen people who competitively play Marble Madness, and if you have not had the opportunity to watch people competitively play Marble Madness and the way they use that ball, it is crazy. It's not like anything. You're like over there like trying to manipulate it all slowly, and they're out there just like, it's a workout watching them. Like it's crazy. Go watch it. Go check a YouTube video of competitive Marble Madness. It's pretty awesome.
I believe the NES high score world record holder for Marble Madness is on Video Game Sage. It's MBD 39. World record, baby, in score. But everyone plays it for time, so I don't know who cares. Stefan, just tell us, like, what did you buy? Like, did you buy Nintendo? What's going on?
Yeah, just tell us the one giant thing you bought. Go ahead.
I actually bought some video games. You guys want to hear what the video games about?
Off. No, you didn't.
I did. I bought a bunch, actually. I've been picking up. I told you I had interest in buying the international big box Super Nintendo games, and I have been buying those. A few of them have gotten here by now. And that's
why didn't you just go to the freight forwarder? You're a crazy man. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, Secret of Evermore came in. And Super Mario World 2 came in. Oh, and the Mario and Wario mouse for the Super Famicom came in. What else did I buy? Oh,
Mario and Wario was released in Europe? I didn't even know that.
No, in Japan.
Oh.
But it's a big box.
Okay.
International big box. I got real jealous of Tyler's the machine gun. Tyler posted on Instagram. He found the gun that they had made, that they modeled the BFG 9000 off of, and I got jealous and I looked on eBay and there one was. So I bought one. So have
even
that.
When you're not on Collector's Quest, Tyler is making you buy games.
It's true.
I was like 75% of the way to buying the one that Stefan was buying because it was like 2/3 the price of mine and it was a different variant. And I'm like, I could own two. Why not?
I bought a sealed in its baggie Illusion of Gaia shirt because I'm a sucker for Illusion of Gaia shirts when they're in nice condition because it's my favorite shirt. So I have like 6 of them now. And that's the one thing that I'm hoarding. When Illusion of Gaia t-shirts become like the next big thing, I'm set. I'm set to retire off my Illusion of Gaia t-shirt collection. The big things though were I bought my 5th World of Nintendo cabinet, and a Star Fox statue, which is in the best condition that I've ever seen one, and it's very, very, very pretty. So those were my big purchases.
That's it. Just a World Nintendo cabinet, Star Fox statue, Like the t-shirt's like a minor thing at this point. It's like, oh no, another Illusion of Guy t-shirt. That Star Fox statue is pretty nice.
It's really nice. Yeah.
I know you like Star Fox, so I'm happy you have that.
Yeah.
To put next to your 5 World of Nintendo cabinets.
I have been playing. They just released the newest content patch for World of Warcraft, so I've been playing a lot of that. Also been playing. I think I already said the last time. I've been playing Among Us with my coworkers. So that's a thing that I've been doing kind of a lot of. Oh, and actually, I have a coworker that has been playing EverQuest on Project 99, and I spun up a character on there, and I've been messing around with that too. So fun EverQuest stuff.
Woo!
Everyone can relate because it's 1998 right now.
Shut up, RuneScape app.
I'm still playing RuneScape. I had my I just passed my calendar notification to cancel my subscription. Did not cancel. We're on month 2 right now, baby. We're gonna see how long we can keep this addiction rolling this time.
You should stop this. All right. Do we have anything else left? Any other things you want to throw out?
No.
Tyler or Stefan?
I do.
Okay, go.
So in
better
September,
not be a plug for somebody else's thing. I am tired of not getting plugged and you plugging other people. You won't even promote this podcast on your damn channel. You better not. Don't do it.
I do promote this on.
No, you have not posted a promo on your Instagram for any of our episodes in a very long time, Stefan, or on your Twitter.
I link it on all my YouTube videos,
which don't happen that frequently.
That's fair. That should happen more.
Do you not? Are you plugging someone?
No, I'm plugging myself.
Nope. No, I'm just kidding. What do you got going on?
I mean, I kind of have to, because it's a show. It's actually my first show coming out of COVID, which I'm really excited about. But the first Art of Nintendo Power art show to actually the first Art of Nintendo Power art show, because the first ones were going to happen and then COVID happened. So it's going to be Sunday, September 12th at the Megabit Game Expo in Simi Valley, California, where I live.
Woo!
Yeah.
When is this?
September 12th.
Oh, I can walk around. I can walk around it. I can go to the thing.
You can. Yeah.
I want to go to there.
It's
and it's in my hometown.
Yep. It's at the oh god, what's the Grand Vista Hotel over by the that strip mall that no one goes to.
The Grand Vista Hotel.
Yeah.
Where's
it's right
off of
First.
Off of
so like
on First Street?
Yeah,
or on
so
you
get off on First, right? Coming from my house, you get off on First, and instead of making a turn either direction, you just go straight.
Oh, yeah. It's right past the Del Taco and the glasses place.
Yeah.
Or they used to make glasses, but yeah.
And the big, like, I think there's like a medical building there too.
Yeah, there used to be a club there called like Splash. Might still be in the lobby of that hotel.
Oddly enough, also in Simi Valley, there's a Grand Vista Motel, which I did not know of.
It's on Madeira, right?
Yeah. So you're not going to the motel, you're going to the hotel. But it's a little one day show, which actually is perfect for me because this is my first show. So it being so close and just being one day, like I can just kind of set it up, and I'm really excited because I could do like photos and promo and stuff like that for Art of Nintendo Power. So also related to that, and this is something that I'm finally able to announce, but my corporation, the Interactive Art Collection, has finally gotten 501c3 nonprofit status. So I am now a nonprofit entity, which is something that I've been working on for a very, very long time. The IRS is not very fast. So the actual physical art, for at least now, still is owned by me. But the Interactive Art Collection will have it on loan, and if you do want, any donations that we do get will go to things like putting on shows and travel and basically getting me to these shows. So I don't want people to think that they're donating money to me to buy art, because that's not true. I'm still self-funding the entire art collection. But if you want to help me out with things like travel and framing and that kind of stuff that is not related to the art, but still is valuable for me to be able to get out to show you the art, that's what the foundation is really for. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to start doing stuff with that too. So that's what I got going on. I bought a few things and I started a nonprofit.
So does that mean you can now buy things on eBay? You can file that and not be taxed?
I could, but then whatever I would buy would be owned by the foundation and not me. That's really the only thing. And just because I know people are curious, people could theoretically donate actual art, and I could and the foundation could give a tax write-off for that. It would just need to be appraised by an actual, like a Heritage or like an actual auction house or an actual appraiser, and I could give them the value for that. However, the person donating the art cannot be the artist, because the IRS basically doesn't want artists to be able to write infinite tax write-offs for themselves by just generating art and donating it. So a collector or any sort of third party could theoretically donate art to the foundation. It would just be owned by the foundation and not by me. So that if something happened to it, then legally the only thing that I could do with that asset would be to donate it to another 501c3, like a museum or the government. But yeah, so I don't want people to think that like I'm just gonna like go and like start writing, getting piles of art by just like throwing out tax write-offs. It's a little bit more complicated than that, and so yeah, that's all I got to say about the nonprofit.
All right, so I think that does. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna. Are you a museum curator right now? What's going on?
I'm so technically I am a nonprofit museum.
Are you the curator? Do you have a title in this museum?
Executive director.
Ooh. We got a fancy boy on the podcast. I'm so excited.
I mean, he was already a fancy lad.
I mean, executive director. I mean, of what though? You know what I mean? Like
of the stuff you have, Stefan. That's on loan from you.
Yes.
All right. So, Tyler, any more?
Nope.
Interjections, Stefan?
Dying to end it.
Okay, you're dying to end it. Thanks for making the show seem so valuable and like you enjoy being here, Tyler. As always, you are a gift.
Johnny, I got about 30 more minutes of me about mugs if you want to.
Okay,
going.
so excellent. I'm going to throw this out. If you don't have Disney Plus, I don't know how this is available to you. Maybe you can buy it. I'm not sure. But Luca was released not so long ago, and it was delightful and enjoyable. And it's nice to see delightful, enjoyable family movies where the stakes are pretty low, and it's not stressful. It's pretty easy thing to consume. So
Luca's parents don't die in the first 5 minutes.
No, there's not like an immediate tragedy. There's not like the stakes aren't like world ending. It's pretty light fare, and I was surprised that Pixar released it that way. And it's on theme. I know Tyler's like, how is this on theme? Because they're on the southern coast of Italy, right?
Whoa,
we're back to that Italian thing. Yep. So if you haven't watched it and you're like, what is this weird thing with like sea monsters? It is actually like pretty enjoyable. So I was hesitant to watch it, but I got a small child, so I'll throw anything in front of him if I think it'll stop him for 30 seconds. And that one did. He actually really enjoyed it. So my wife and I and him all sat down and watched it. It was amazing. That my joy for it could be that I got to sit down for 30 minutes. That might be it. I'm not sure, but I found it very enjoyable overall. So that's my parting show recommendation. And we're going to close out the show, and Stefan is going to do it. All right, Stefan, are you ready?
Are we going to do where they can find us?
Oh yeah, well, I guess we should do that. Sorry,
we should.
Where can we find you, Stefan? Go.
On Instagram, Art of Nintendo Power with underscores between all that, or on Twitter @ArtofNP. You can also just Google Art of Nintendo Power. You'll find me. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Tyler?
I'm Default Gen, Default GEN. I'm on Video Game Sage and Instagram.
And you can find me on Instagram mainly, and on our Patreon. The Patreon, again, is Collector's Quest, or is patreon.com/Collector's Quest. You can join for as little as $2. I know you guys love that plug. sorry. It's a great place to hang out. A lot of good people there. So if you enjoy the kind of stuff we talk about, and if you enjoy a bunch of those side rambling we do, then definitely get to the Patreon. Bunch of knowledgeable people and all of that stuff. I'm Johnny_Iucci on Instagram, and just Johnny there and on Video Game Sage. So come find me. And that's it for our show. And to close it out, Stefan.
Bye!
That is our show. Do I have any corrections? In Arcade Express, we didn't mention, so there actually is a paragraph that Donkey Kong on Atari 2600 was released in late July. It's not just the newspaper ads, so there is additional evidence that's from late July. Also, just huge shout out to randomterrain.com, an Atari collector who has done serious research into getting the most specific Atari release dates possible by looking at primary sources like newspaper ads when they start appearing, or like newsletters that talk about the game's release date. Atari collectors, I think you guys are the greatest. You are the most serious collectors, no matter how much people want to think NES is the end-all be-all of collecting. I see you and all the documentation you do and all the research you do. You guys are amazing. Also, we made a joke of Ball Game & Watch is like the earliest thing that can be tangentially related to Mario, even though it's not related to Mario. But yes, Mario is on current Nintendo Hanafuda cards, so if you go back to 19th century Nintendo Hanafuda cards, that will be the earliest thing that you could tangentially relate to Mario. Anyway, thank you to the patrons. Richard Patron number 1, Bowden, Canadian Variant Alert, Chris Glidden, The Millennium, Will Joe, Nintendo World Champion, Daniel Jacksvick, High-End Collector, Andrew Brim, 50 Hertz is good enough for me, Andre, Wada 9.8, A++, Benji, Brian Gupta, and Pocky and Rocky with Becky, Mint Condition, Brian J. Mora, Sophisticated Investor, Cartmageddon, Fat Cat Collector, Chris Jackson, Chris, SNK Too Many NES Accessories, Morozek, Johnny's GBA Hookup, Coffee with Mr. Saturn, Playing with Power, Connor Strange, The Last Game You Need for the Set, Corey O'Brien, Unpunched Hang Tab, Dustin Beagle, Man of Nintendo in the World of Nintendo, Funky Brewster, The Actual Shinobi, Jasonic the Kid, Jeff the Game Boy Farris, Lance, Lord Hardstyle Z, The Degenerate, Matt Fall, Funkoland Employee, Platform Agnostic, The Famicom Box, Retro Game Enthusiast, Sean, The Gamer Collective, Previously Unknown Variant, Tim Walker, Can't Put Limits on Collecting, VG Collectaholic, Keeper of the Zelda Variants, 0x Def Code, Big Fan. Getting the full PS2 set because Stefan won't, all caps. The Official Seal of Quality, Andy Gill Selector, The Actually Rare, Bird Dog Gaming, Brandon Rogers, whose favorite episode is the wrestling episode, the Strictly Limited Super Rare, Bruno, still finding deals in 2021, Colton Murphy, David Green, he's got that on vinyl, Derek Lauer, who made me edit this show, Don Libby, the hero of time, Jeremy Jarvis, here for the Pog Talk, Jim Jacobs, world record holder of Best Collection, Red Pyramid Thing, Jonathan Shados, Video Game Art Collector because video games are art, Justin Chichillo, Lateral Movement, who's got a Donkey Kong kill screen coming up, Michael, posted in the Discord right now, Chiara Monty, Nick, the Video Game Database Morgan, the other guy who collects Korean releases, Peaceful Games, The Promoter, Retro RPG Podcast, Tex, who collects for Jaguar, Tom, Obscure Variant Chaser Chase, Zaventorian, he knows all 97 Nintendo games, Andrew, Actually Collecting N-Gage O, B Nugs, Bionic Commando, Colby, Corhagen Does What Nintendo Don't, Daniel McArdle, who thought this was the Retronauts Patreon, the Xbox Authority, Danny Gomez, The Philatelist, Dork Overlord, My Childhood PlayStation Idol, Game-Rave.com, Joe Actually Plays His Games Champ Pity, Joseph Rogers got 50,000 on Double Dragon, Homebrew Mastermind, Nick Ryan, and Sean the Video Game Illuminati LaCroix. Thank you guys so much. You guys see a Zelda sold for like $1 million? Jesus.